one.
What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? The Celtic Warriors, James.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Bella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to episode 1 again of Wrestling on the Rocks. I'm at Ref Marsh. We are at WOTR, the show, and this is a mess already.
Not my fault.
It's not your fault this time. It's crazy because last week it was all your fault. This week
It's
not your fault at all. And this is a nightmare. We're not on YouTube. We're only on Twitch. We're doing this old school style like we used to because the platform we were using to stream is all fucked up right now. And it's why we're switching. We're definitely going to be switching soon to a different platform. We'll be staying on Twitch and YouTube, though. Hopefully it's going to actually get us to be on Twitch and Facebook at the same time as well, and Twitter. But do I need a drink now more than ever?
Mm-hmm.
With me today for Thursday Night Chaser, MsAmandaJayne. What's up, MsAmandaJayne?
Hey, what's up, guys? I didn't break it this time. I'm pretty sure there was really cool footage of me like going crazy, not saying anything.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I didn't go back and watch, but you know.
Yeah, definitely need a drink before the show even got started this time.
Oh no. That's unusual. Well, no.
Yeah, it's not super unusual, but still. Yeah, I mean, and then so because of all this, it's going to be such a pain in my ass after the show. So I'm already all like, well, now I got a bunch of work for me after the show. Like, I like to be done with the show when I'm done with the show. But, you know, whatever. It's the show.
Or is it because, you know, it's your free baby.
I know,
it's your baby.
It's my baby.
It's not,
show.
you know. I know, it's your
everything
show.
Else feels like work, you know what I mean? Because I'm working on a few other shows now too, and it's like, okay, that's work. And then for this one, it's like, well, I just get to clock in and do it, and it's fun, and then I'm done. When this show feels a little bit like work, I'm like, come on, you're supposed to be the easy one.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you become like a megastar and doing work, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is one of like 3 shows I'm on now. Man, I'm trying to remember. I think JustinTime usually comes through on YouTube, doesn't he? Or does he come through on Twitch?
I don't know.
I don't know if we're even going to see him. I guess we'll find out.
Well,
we're going to find out who's true blue and old school with our Twitch TV channel.
Yeah. But I would think, because I tweeted, maybe he looked at his Twitter and he saw, you know, the lovely producer lady's tweet. So,
did she just tweet about how it's all fucked up?
No, she tweeted like 13 minutes ago, but I retweeted saying, come find us on
Twitch only.
Yeah. Technical difficulties, man.
For the first time since episode 1, this episode 1 brought to you on Twitch exclusively. So
yeah.
I don't know. We're just here to have fun anyways.
So, yeah.
I mean, we're not going to, but that's what we want to do.
We want to be pretty perfect, you know, and
yeah.
Sometimes perfection doesn't happen. So
this is why it's episode 1. If this was like at least an episode 2, it'd be a lot more stressful. But the fact it's only episode 1, nothing to worry about. We'll figure it out on the second episode.
Yeah. If you want it all classy and shit, donate money. Buy some of our merch, you know?
Great point. If you guys donated more money, if you go to WrestlingRocks.com, there's already a donate button there.
Donate
just
button.
Click it. Yeah, you can donate me. Depending on how much they donate, I might only be able to afford a donut.
But that's okay.
It'll make my stress less. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's something.
Sure. I mean, how much are
Go ahead.
How much are the Sonic packs you like? Are they $1?
They're like $1.06 or some shit.
See, there you go. You can buy that.
Yeah, you literally could buy me 6 drinks for $1.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
You can donate there. You can also go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com/shop and get some cool ass merch. I got to check that site. Now I think about it, I don't know if I ever connected my bank to it. I don't know if I think we've sold stuff there and none of the money's ever come my way. I think it's just sitting there.
Whoops.
I gotta.
Yeah. Yes.
I gotta set stuff up. I mean, but if you guys are buying there, then eventually I'll get a check. Mm-hmm. As long as before the end of the year, then I can still write it off on these taxes. So. Miss AmsAmandaJayne.
Yeah.
What's in your glass? What are you drinking?
Well, today it's been one hell of a day, and thanks to a client of mine, shout out to Mowbray's Tree Service, I am drinking the lovely Golden State Cider in Jamaica. And I've never had Jamaica before. I was like, what is Jamaica? And actually, it is a rosé version of... Now, I did not like the rosé Angry Orchard. I thought that was shitty. I was like, what the hell is this? It's like, if you were to buy wine at a dollar store, that's probably what it was kind of like. I don't know. I don't buy wine at the dollar store. But then again, I don't even think they sell wine at the dollar store. But anywho, it's got a nice champagne yeast and hibiscus flower. And it's a nice pretty shade of pink. And it is yummy. So if you like a dry cider, Golden State Cider, they're from California. You know it when they're... Oh, can't see it on the cam. You know it when you see the little otter. Oh, yes, they were the first ones that I ever saw have the, the safe plasticky things on top of the cans that are like sea life safe, and they have a little otter on them. It's really cute.
Yeah, and when you see that, you otter have one. Yes. Oh, that one's gonna kill Bishop because he's a dad, so he's gonna love shit like that.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, he's in Delaware. There's like nothing else to like do or laugh at. Like, it's got to be easy to just crack him up.
Do they have otters over there? Would he even know what an otter is?
He probably calls it pheasant because that's how people like that talk in Delaware.
Yeah.
So.
Even the otters, chicken.
Yeah. That's cool. Is that an apple cider?
It's an apple cider. Yes, they do apples. All right. They do.
I'm gonna have to message a friend of mine about it because I got a buddy out in New York who was constantly. He's obsessed with apples to begin with. He wanted to make a whole restaurant. Like, and he's a pretty good cook. He wanted to like open up a restaurant that was like everything was apple based in one way or another. And I don't think he ever came up with a clever name, but he had the idea of the menu, and it was like, this would have apple, this would have apple, and he wanted to have a bunch of great ciders, and so he was constantly trying every apple cider he could ever find, and he didn't like the ones that were too sweet. He liked the ones that were a little more dry. So it sounds like something.
Yeah, he might like theirs. There's a couple different ones. There's a ginger one. Not a fan because I think it's too
gingery, spicy.
Yeah, a little too much of the spice that takes away. They also have another version that is it's very robust. I'm just gonna put it at that. That's the best way to describe it. It's like if you took apples and put them on steroids, that's kind of like the feeling you get. And I'm excited because, they now have in their tap room in Sebastopol. Shout out to Sonoma County. They actually had this one called, it was their Radical series. And they had one called Radical Paradise, which is pineapple and apple. Incredible. But it was only available at the tap room on tap. Now they put them in cans this year, and I didn't know that. Hard to find. But the new one is launching any day now, and it is guava. It's another kind of like tropical kind of thing. So I'm curious to see it when it comes around. So yeah. So check it out.
Sounds good. I watched both NXT and AEW today, and I didn't want to watch either of them. So I've started drinking low class already. I'm having a truly mixed berry, and I added a shot of vodka in it because I thought, let's just get grungy. Let's do it.
That's not grungy.
Adding a shot of vodka into your fucking $2 bomber of a seltzer? Yeah, that's grungy.
I know Joey Janela. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you got me there.
Yeah, so
he knows grungy.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be that. Yeah, no. Now, if you took one of those Smirnoff ones that taste like pure rubbing alcohol, and maybe put a shot of Smirnoff because you think you're cute, that is really grungy. That's bottom of the barrel.
That's true. I think you, me, and Janela should go drinking one time.
Oh, we should, and that would be legendary. Oh my good Lord. Yeah, I mean,
we would have to all agree to take as many photos as possible and share them with no one but each other.
Oh yeah,
it'd be like a pact to the death. Like, hey,
oh yeah,
tons of footage, tons of photos, because it's going to be hysterical. None can be shared.
I would also have to include future Joey, the ultimate Joey Janela cosplayer, because
absolutely.
Let me tell you, future Joey and I and Janela have had drinks before, and it was insane. We went to a spot that had these like gigantic like steins of beer. It wasn't Oktoberfest. It was way away from Oktoberfest, and it was kind of Jesus Christ.
Depending on what city, I might sneak in an extra hard drinker, an extra drinking buddy, as it were.
There you go.
Let's as long as we're drinking and cheersing, how about we do some birthdays?
Yeah, this birthday week is a little light, but there's some good birthdays. I know we did miss a couple this last week because I didn't know it was hold on, it was on you guys sent it to me and I was like, oh my god, I feel bad. Wait, where's my thinking? But as I'm pulling it up, because I always feel bad when we miss somebody. Yes. It either means A, you're not making much of an impact, so these little shit websites don't care about you, or B, it's just sad because there's some people who definitely should be having a birthday. Like, for example, our 2022 Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner.
Mojo?
Mojo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a birthday. And let me see who else.
Mojo's birthday is hype. You know how old he turned?
How old?
69.
Oh man. I will say this. You know what? Actually, I always was like, man, I really wish I wish I went on it. Yeah. But you know how his buddy Gronk?
Yes.
Cruz.
Yeah.
And like I think that somehow he was like the master of ceremonies or some bullshit. But to see those two just drinking with other people, just drinking on this boat the whole time, it's kind of fucking amazing.
It had to be great vibes.
It had to be. Absolutely had to be. And I will say this, I just like really just don't, I don't know. I'm just going to just shake my head. Rhea Ripley, happy birthday. I think we missed you, which is odd. And then also former announcer Tony Chimmel. What's Tony Chimmel doing? Nothing? Or is he kind of like...
Isn't Chimmel in Japan or something?
I don't know. Or is he kind of doing that Lillian Garcia thing where every once in a blue moon he might pop up somewhere?
I thought he was announcing in Japan. Oh, Jesus. I pulled him up and it immediately showed me the WWE official bio on him. And I was like, well, that's not going to tell me what he's doing now. No way. They're going to be like, check him out on... Yeah.
They're like, no, you did work for us, but not no more.
Because I could have sworn he was doing stuff still, but maybe not. Post-career, maybe not.
No.
Sporadic up until 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, he was working behind the scenes in WWE. That's right. Yeah. I remember, I believe Tony Chimmel was really good buddies with Jimmy Corderas. And if you read his book, he has a bunch of instances where he refers to Tony Chimmel as like Fred Flintstone. And it cracks me up every time. So,
he kind of looks like Fred Flintstone.
Now but he was furloughed during the pandemic in the 2020 April timeframe. I don't know if this is true, but his Wikipedia says, following his release from WWE, Chimmel took a job at a Trader Joe's store. That is hysterical to me because I believe it to be a joke. But, look at they have sources. Wrestling News. Former ring announcer Tony Chimmel is now working at Trader Joe's. I can't imagine that you stay contracted with WWE for 5 full years and then you go, well, I guess I'm out of money. Like, can't imagine. Let me see. I'm going to pull up one of these articles.
Well, he's not like Phil, where you can go and just basically go somewhere, get a fast payday and, a fast big payday and not have to worry about life. I mean, Tony Schimmel, come on. Like, most people probably don't know his name.
It was during an interview with Chris Van Vliet. Schimmel revealed he now works for Trader Joe's. He goes, I figured out there is life after WWE because you figure I started when I was 22 years old and now I'm 60. I found a job at Trader Joe's, which I never really knew about. I had heard of Trader Joe's, but I didn't really know what it was. And when I first told my daughter that I was working at Trader Joe's, she was like, oh, Dad, that's great. You got to get this and get that. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is weird. He goes, there's a lot of similarities because at WWE, they always wanted to put smiles on people's faces. And at Trader Joe's, all they want to do is wow the customer and make the customer feel happy. That's interesting. Schimmel noted that his... Weird. Yeah, noted that he likes his job and enjoys working with the people over at Trader Joe's. He also believes morale is high within the company. I guess I'm more concerned, or not concerned, I guess I'm more confused as to how he got a job there without knowing what it was. It makes me wonder what he does there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder what he does.
It's cool that he's working at least in a point of the company where he knows that they want to wow the customer. And I do like that his immediate correlation is WWE, what Vince and Stephanie and Triple H have always said when they go, what's the point of WWE? Said we put smiles on faces. Like the fact that he's really bought into that, and I'm not saying he's wrong about buying into it. I don't know, but I am saying that they always push that. The fact that he's like, it's so similar because all these companies want to do is make people happy. I'm like, that's a really great takeaway after so long being there. Like from 89 to 2020, and you walking away being like, all they want to do is make people happy. Well, that's cool. But yeah, I don't know how you interview, get a job, start working in a place, and then your daughter tells you it's a grocery store.
Yeah. Or so, Mr. Schimmel, how do you, what qualities from your job at ring announcing, right? What do you do as a ring announcer? I would be like, how do you transition that into working at Trader Joe's? I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's very interesting. Mm-hmm. I know Cameron Grimes can tell you about working in a yogurt shop. It's on Colt Cabana's podcast.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was doing indie wrestling and working at, I think, Menchie's. I think it was Menchie's. I could be wrong. But it was one of the bigger chain ones. And now he's a homeowner. Congratulations.
That was good.
Yeah, he looked really, really happy in that photo I saw yesterday.
This is crazy. So yeah, but happy birthday to Tony Schimmel, and congratulations on your new career in Trader Joe's, whatever it is you do then.
Yeah. I don't know. I see him as one of those, I don't know if they call them captains. I don't know why. Maybe I have SpongeBob in my head right now, and that captain. Well, because they're like a nautical theme, and they have the bell that they ring, and
it's true.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he's one of the captains, which is a manager. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? But that's awesomeness. All right, 4 birthdays. Shout out to my juggalos. Whoop whoop. I'm out there. Shaggy Too Dope. He's having a birthday. So,
that's cool. The ICP connection, one of the oddities.
Yep, of wrestling. And you know what? They still are doing Bloody Mania. They still do the gathering this year. It was very eclectic. Some of the people who were wrestling at the gathering, besides the normal people, Colt was there again. He actually rapped. That's the one incarnation I've never seen Colt do, is Officer Colt Cabana. I really want to, because I've seen them all.
He does Officer Colt Cabana and he raps?
Well, he was rapping this time along to some track, and some dudes were getting into it. I don't know. Max Caster, you just be glad that Tony Khan shipped him away to ROH, man. Give you a run for your money. Yeah. Scissor beat, daddy ass. Anyways. All right. Yeah, and then tomorrow, Stacy Keibler.
No, Stacy Keibler.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can't believe she was dating George Clooney for as long as she did.
For a while, yeah. For a long
time.
That
was random. That was very random.
Felt way random. I was supportive of both of them being together, but I didn't understand how that happened.
Yeah, that's like one of those like a freak accident, I guess. I don't know, but I mean, who knows? I mean, you find love in interesting places, so
Yeah.
good on them. Good on them. Chavo Guerrero, Chavo, happy birthday!
No,
It was
happy
very
birthday,
interesting.
Chavo.
Speaking of the Guerreros, because I remember we were talking about on episode 1 what happened to Vicky, but it looks like Vicky's back again. So, I
Yeah,
mean, I
she's
love
finally back, and yeah,
yeah,
we'll
weird
get to
things
that.
going on, but we'll
Yeah.
get to that. Another one who is having a birthday that we must say happy birthday to is the interim women's world champion, Tony Storm. Happy birthday.
Tony
Uh,
Storm, happy birthday, Tony. Yep.
having a birthday. You know who else? Zia Brookside having a birthday.
Oh, that's cool. Z Brookside. That's Robbie
Mhm.
Brookside's daughter. She was doing NXT UK stuff. She just put up on her Twitter, so I retweeted it. I don't have quite the the type of follower that you do, so you might want to retweet it. She was putting out all of her booking information, trying to get some stuff booked. So maybe you go find that, retweet that out to. Because I know you've got more people who are involved a little more in that kind of aspect on your
Yeah.
side.
Oh yeah. Yes. And here's another one I wanted to. Well, actually, I'm going to finish up with a special one.
Wouldn't
But
that be cool if Roy gave her one of those, the up and comer, like he did with Millie this year?
yeah, that'd be really
That'd
cool.
be cool. Maybe get Robbie to
Mhm.
induct her or something.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Well, Roy had asked me. Well, we'll get into this in a minute. Let me finish the birthdays.
Go ahead, go
Um,
ahead.
so, happy birthday, and I hope your arm is well, Kenny Omega, the cleaner. Maybe former executive vice president. I don't know. Who knows?
He could be a zombie by now. He got bit.
He got bit, and
Yeah.
that we don't know what Ace Steel has. I don't
No
know.
idea. No.
No one knows.
No one knows
You
what
know.
he's got.
So, no. So yes, will they return? We hope so. I think I felt like they alluded to it, but we'll talk more about that later. And then finally, there is one other person, kind of wrestling related, I'd like to say, is having a birthday next week on Tuesday, on October 18th. That's yours truly.
The 18th.
The 18th. Mhm.
That's a good point. That's a good shout out. Amanda's birthday's on the 18th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah. I'm not a wrestler. I'm just someone who talks shit about wrestling. So, hey.
But you're a drinking buddy.
But I'm a drinking buddy, and that's the most important. So, yes.
That's most important.
I'm trying to take a half
birthdays.
Cheers.
What day of the week is the 18th?
Tuesday. They have a special Dynamite on my birthday. But who the fuck wants to go to Cincinnati, Ohio? I don't want to go. It's going to be Mox country. How boring is that? But,
Yeah.
But Hangman, it's going to be interesting. But yes. Yep. And I'm going to have you talk to producer lady for just a second. I'll be right back.
You're running away. Great.
Running away. I'm running away and joining the circus.
It was interesting. I just came across this tweet that I thought was neat because it's kind of like what we've been talking about. It says, Jericho has a very distinct way of working drawn-out programs with younger hot talent where the naked eye sees him giving the rub. But it's very clear he's the only beneficiary long-term. Gotta hand it to him, I fear. I don't even follow this person. It's, Be Fermenting. That's funny. It's a good name. I like it. But yeah, that was an interesting take. We've talked about that before, where constantly people are saying like, "Oh, he's getting the rub," and "Oh, he's making a star." But when you kind of watch it from our perspective, it never really kind of seems to play out that way. So interesting. So that's the birthdays, and then I guess we got a little bit of new stuff. Congratulations to Chris Bay and re-signing with Impact Wrestling. Got an extension there. I got to see him when I was in Vegas, totally by happenstance. I was walking through a casino. He was walking in the other direction, and I just pointed at him and went, "Are you Chris Bay?" And he was all like, "Yep." And I was like, "Can we get a picture?" And he's like, "Fuck yeah." And we talked for a minute or two, and he was cool as hell and said he was just in town for a second because it was while I was there for Cauliflower Alley Club. And I asked him, I was like, "Are you here for cauliflower stuff? Are you going to be around the next couple of days? And he's like, nope. He's like, just landed, only in town for today, flying out in the morning. I was just meeting up with some folks, and I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, so we talked for a minute, and he said, tag him, and it was very nice to me. So it's cool. I like when guys like that are getting the contracts. Guys like him, though, same kind of thing like I was saying with Hammerstone before last week, I believe episode 1.
Yeah.
They re-sign with these companies that gave him a chance, and they look loyal, and it's really cool, and you know they're doing better, and you know they're getting their more money. But dumb Mark fans like me, all I want is for them to make the most money on the highest platform. And so when I see them re-sign with some of these other companies, my only thought comes, my first thought is they know what's best, and so that must be the best decision for him in this moment. Mm-hmm. But my second, more selfish, dumb, uneducated thought is, what the hell? Did WWE not call them? Are they saying no to WWE? Like, I want them on bigger platforms, right? So I don't know how long it is or what, but as soon as I saw it, I knew he must be onto something because I wasn't excited as I should have been. I felt more disappointed that the news he didn't sign with a bigger company. Does that make sense?
But yeah, it makes sense. But with Chris Bay, remember, he's New Japan now too, because he's part of Bullet Club. So, in a way, we might say, oh, Impact's, a step down, but no. I mean, look at what's going on.
It's an extension of where he already was, and so it doesn't.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like, I'm not as educated to hit what's best for him as he is, so I can't sit here and go, "Oh, he made this mistake or that." Yeah. All I can say is, when my first thought was, "Bummer, he extended." That's my first thought. My second thought is then, well, I mean, he knows what's best. That's probably what's best. But if my first thought is, "Bummer, he extended," that means he's got to be onto something. He's got to be hot in a way, because in my mind, I'm thinking, why wouldn't someone bigger be grabbing him and enticing him and paying him more and promising him this and that? So, I mean, keep doing what you're doing because it's awesome.
I'll tell you, I would not be surprised if he's going to be in Best of the Super Juniors next spring.
Maybe, but also, so here's the deal. Yes, you like things like G1 and Best of Super Juniors. AEW fans pretend they like that stuff too, but when you talk to them, they don't know what they're talking about. They just,
what are you talking about?
They see people pop up and go, oh yeah, this, that. And I mean, and then some of them know.
They didn't even know where Murder Grandpa was.
No idea.
No idea.
But dummies like me, I don't watch that stuff. So when you hear, and it's not that I refuse to, it just doesn't come up as easily and as often. Yeah. And so I got to go out of my way. So sometimes I just go, oh yeah, I guess that happened. And then when you send me a link and say, watch this match, I do. But outside of that, so for me, it's like, if this dude, which again, congratulations, I'm not trying to knock any of these decisions they make, just having the conversation of the thought process behind why dumb fans like me are not as excited about this news as we should be, rightfully, right? Sam Adonis just signed with Impact, or with MLW actually, with MLW, and it was very, very cool because at least it's something that I can find. But I also thought, really, not NXT? You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm dumb to the whole thing of what's actually happening in their life. All of us are.
Yeah.
None of us know what's best for them. None of them know what's being offered to them. None of us know what's going to be best in them fulfilling the dreams they have in the path that they're taking, right?
Yeah.
So I can only make assumptions based off of no information, like all journalists.
Yeah. I'll say this, like with Sam, a lot of people would think, oh, well, his brother is in WWE and he's like all connected and whatnot. But, that they take different journeys because in Sam's career, a lot of his stuff was, in Mexico and still to this day. I mean, Triple Mania, that's going to be a really cool thing because he was doing that whole, like when I think Brian Cage had started it, the whole anti, the anti democratic kind of thing, like the real America, Trump voting kind of whatever. And I remember they had a tiff because Sam started doing it in Mexico and it was really getting very over and and stuff with that. And it's cool that they're doing a trio. I can't remember who the other person is, but I thought that was pretty damn cool for Triple Mania coming up. So I mean, it's hard because when you see people, you're like, oh man, like Fatu, Okay, Jacob
Yes.
Fatu. Fuck, look at what's going on. You know, with all of the the damn
The whole
all the
family.
Samoan wrestlers. Let's just
Yeah.
go there. Okay, and he's not part of that. And he's
And it's
related.
fucking confusing. Now,
I
again,
know.
we don't know the stuff, but we just go, if
Yeah.
I had the power of a genie, I would put Jacob Fatu in the bloodline now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
he
but,
should be.
but, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
And I will say he has gone to WWE, and obviously it to audition a couple times. Obviously, you would think, oh, it's a shoe in, but at the time, he had a lot of like negative personal things going on.
yeah.
Behind and then now it's years later, and it's like that's all behind him. So
Yeah, I'm really hoping with the new kind of regime that they see things a different way. But again,
yeah,
I mean, congratulations, Chris Bay, for re-signing. Congratulations, Sam Adonis, for getting his contract with MLW. This all is progression for them and best for them. But yeah, when you tell me like, oh, he'll be in Super Juniors, it's like, okay, well, I don't need. I mean,
like,
if he was
whatever.
to show up in NXT, I wouldn't be like, yeah, but how did he do in the Super Junior? I wouldn't be that way. I'd be excited to see him in my TV show that I do watch. Like,
yeah,
I'm just
and
being selfish and excited
but
for him at the same time.
but look who's over there in Impact though, right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got a lot of great dudes over there. I mean, you've got like, Kushida's over there again. There, you've got, Motor City Machine Guns. You've got Mike Bennett. I'm not saying anything about his partner, but you've got some good people there. You have some bad too, and that's any company. But I think that it's an area he would thrive in because let's be real.
He's been doing it over there.
Real. Yeah, he's been doing it over there, and I don't think there is no place for him at AEW, and I'm glad that he isn't even probably looking in that light.
That's probably
it's
true.
kind of cool to see those kinds of things. It's like with Flip Gordon. I am so glad that Flip didn't sign, and he's doing NWA right now. Flip's in a good spot. I know that he's happy doing whatever. I probably can see him. Probably he might end up in WWE. I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be. I know that beforehand they were concerned about him because he was so young in his career, and that flippy shit, people get a little weary about it. You either get better and you're pretty seamless, like a Ricochet. Even Flip's pretty seamless too. Let's go there. And then you have people like a Guevara who you're like, that's a loose cannon. Prone to other people, and you're like, So that's where that is. And I think, and if we want to go there with Guevara too, I'm just going to open up this little tea. Maybe I said it before in episode 1, but I don't know. But you want to know why Sammy Guevara was never given the green light from WWE? His bad attitude. That should tell you something.
Yeah, it's true.
And he doesn't want to admit that himself, but everyone was like, it was his bad attitude. And not only that,
clip that's gone around, right, with Lacey Evans.
No,
there's a clip that's gone around because they were showing. I think it was part of the Combine special they did with NXT that was like 9 hours. It showed some people training and people trying out, and Sammy Guevara was one of them. And Lacey's ringside helping run the drills because she's a former Marine. Probably pretty good with running drills, has that loud Marine voice, I'm sure, and you can take that with you, right?
Yeah.
I think her real name is Macy, which is interesting. So it said like Macy on the bottom, and she said like he was like number 34, Sammy Guevara, and does this tumble, and she said, "What do you say? What was your name? Like say it louder so we can hear you." And so he says again like number 34, Sammy Guevara, baby, and then does a little roll thing, and the camera runs around the ring because they're on the other side, and they get right up in her face. I'm like, what'd you think of that? It sounds like he kind of called you babe or something. And she goes, yeah, he's very disrespectful to women. We're going to have to address that, and the fact that he has no idea how to roll in there. Because his roll was weird and sideways, and you're just watching like, whoa, Lacey tearing up Sammy Guevara? That is crazy.
But you know what I wonder?
I loved it.
Because there was a class where Ricky was there at the same time. Jeff Cobb, I believe. I know Carl Fredericks was there. at the same time. So I'm wondering if this was that time.
Could be.
Because, it's funny because then you get like Ricky who checked all the boxes, but it was like, why don't they drop the hammer? And I'm like, the problem is it's because, at the time it's like, you're not big enough and then you're not small enough in a way. You're just kind of there.
Yeah. I mean, and they're looking for a certain thing.
Yeah. And now
that thing changes.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Sometimes they want bigger people. They think their crowd's too small. Sometimes they want smaller people. They think it's all just too big. Like, it comes in waves.
But now
WWE's looking for. Go ahead.
But now, he'd kind of take him in a heartbeat. Triple H, he'd take him in a heartbeat because that guy's ready for. Probably. Yeah, I mean, it's not. He wouldn't have to be down. I mean, he would be one of those ones like, they would try to test like a Braun Breaker or even Carmelo. Because remember when Melo first hit, it was like that guy, boom, he was rocket strapped to his back. So I mean, but who am I? I'm just a person that watches this shit, Yep. So, I mean,
I don't have any more news though. You know what birthday you missed? Tony Khan. So funny.
No, I said that last week.
Did you say it last week? Oh,
yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah. I blocked it out.
Yeah, a lot of things I block out about Tony Khan. Yeah.
You want to talk some shows? You want to talk some Tony shows?
Let's talk about that one interview before we go into the Tony show.
Oh, Errol Hawani, and it's funny that a lot of the dirt sheet guys and the people who believe everything that Meltzer has ever said and never thought he's ever gotten a lick of bad information ever, go about referring to Bruce Pritchard as the Artful Dodger, because they say that when you ask him questions, he'll work around it, he'll talk around it, he'll talk you in circles. When really, when you kind of like listen to Bruce and other things, a lot of it is Vince says we're going to do this thing. It's his job to convince that person it's a good thing to do. That's his job. He's not dodging the thing. And you're not going to catch him fucking off behind Vince's back. You know what I mean? It's not like Vince is going to say, hey, we're doing the Red Rooster. You got to make sure Terry thinks it's a good idea, which I don't think this ever happened. I don't think that he was part of it. I don't know. But you got to tell him it's a good idea if he asks. Terry goes over to him, dude, this is bullshit, right? No, I think it's good for you. I think it'll work. You're not going to have him go, yeah, it's totally bullshit, but Vince wants it, so what the fuck are you going to do? Because then you're going to have a dude who's not hyped to do the thing and phone it in, right?
Yeah.
He's not dumb. Exactly. So it's funny to me that people call Bruce the Artful Dodger, and then you see someone like Tony Khan be asked a bunch of different questions and pretend he's answering and talk about a different thing and go, I hope that answered your question. Like that's how he ends every non-answer. I hope that answered your question. And anytime I watch those media scrums and stuff, you just wish that the person on the other side said, you absolutely did not get even close to answering my question, but I guess you covered some other topics and I think we'll be good for that for time. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that like a Nick Hausman would do that to him one time.
I want to do it. Oh, yeah, by the way.
There was a time Nick asked him a question. He said a bunch of stuff. Said, I hope that answered your question, Nick. And Nick just goes, that's fine. And I was like, but I love it.
Because technically we're media. Technically, okay?
It's true. We are media.
And I would
influencers and journalists.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I will claim my influencer badge. Highly.
Yes.
I'm trying to get a blue check, so if you people can help me, Marsh needs a blue check.
Yeah, if we got blue checks,
Blue farts, blue checks, whatever.
Blue checks, brown farts, brown checks, blue streaks, whatever, man.
Yeah.
That's not the same.
That's journalism, baby. Sorry.
Hey, Sammy Guevara.
Okay. I got Sammy Guevara on you there. I apologize.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, I'd hit him upside the head if I were your producer lady. Find a chancla. Fucking hit him with it.
There'll be a chancla right here somewhere.
There has to be. No, but it's funny because the whole thing with that Tony Khan interview, which was, I like it when Ariel would ask the questions, the hard-hitting ones, the ones that people really fucking want to know. Oh, I can't answer that. And he does that whole goofy look on his face. And part of me thinks that it's weird, like, because he doesn't blink.
No. Yeah.
Or if he does, it's very rarely. And so part of me is like, is he like hypnotized? Is someone behind his little screen Like,
I do wonder this sometimes. A lot of people have talked about their belief that Tony may be high a lot of the time, right? That is a narrative that's out there. I do wonder if I mean, maybe, but I do wonder if we were to say that he's not high all the time, he's not doing drugs. Okay. It could also be pure exhaustion, because when you're that tired, you behave as though you're on drugs. So I wouldn't be shocked to find out this dude gets like 2 hours of sleep a night because of how obsessed he is with his AEW company, which he should be, how involved he is with the Jaguars, and how involved he is with Folsom.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
PWG has announced their next show. Got a pretty cool lineup. Titus Alexander and new West Coast Pro heavyweight champion. He did beat Fatu. It was a great match. He faces Ray Horace, Shane Hayes, and Davey Richards. I only want to go see Shane Hayes.
It's just some indie show.
TDM fucking K. Okay, TDM K. Wow. The reunion of the True Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson are facing the fucking Rascals. That is going to be amazing. So it's going to be, but it's the pair of, it's not Zachary Wentz, but it's the pair of Trey Miguel and Myron Reed. And you know what? Trey Miguel's fucking rad. And I will go there.
Myron
Jordan
Reed? Are you sure it's not Trey Miguel and Nash
no,
Carter?
It says Trey Miguel and Myron Reed. Myron Reed is kind of the, I think of Myron Reed, and no offense, Myron Reed, he's kind of like the alternate. Yeah. That every once in a while they'll let him, off the pine, but whatever. He has a lot of growing up to do still to this day. They're doing more women. So for you people who say, oh, they need more women. Okay, some of the selections they have are pretty poor. This match will be great. It's not going to, it'll probably should end up the way it should end up. I'd be very happy about, because I can't stand the bitch. Mm-hmm. But it's Jordan Grace versus Masha Slamovich. I fucking love Masha. But, usually when you have your first show, your first match at PWG, you lose. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We have Commander and Latigo. I don't know who they are. Obviously luchadors. They're going to debut when they're going to be a triple lucha tag. Aramis, Bandito, and Commander are going to take on Latigo, Laredo Kid, and Black Taurus. Nice. That's a great one. Let's see, who else do we have here? Oh, this is news that we did not talk about. So guess who's out of retirement again?
What was it?
Guess who's out of retirement again?
Someone. Oh, Leo Rush is back out of retirement.
Yes,
right?
He's back out of retirement again. Man,
yeah.
My emotions, Leo Rush. I just, at the time, now if you say you're retiring, we're like, okay, we'll see you in like 5 months. Because that's about the shelf life. This is going to be a great match. Him versus Speedball Mike Bailey. I think that's going to be incredible. That for me right there. That could
be a lot of fun.
That is going to be a lot of fun. And then our main event is going to be Jonathan Gresham, boring, versus Daniel Garcia for the PWG World title. Because Daniel Garcia is not only your ROH Pure Wrestling champion, he is the goddamn fucking ROH champion. PWG champion. Now, here's a funny. We had a special West Coast Pro. We had a special appearance by Daniel Garcia, which was great because he spent quite a lot of time out in San Francisco wrestling. So it was really cool to see him. Well, anyways, he had, his towel that he kind of comes out with, the little black towel, trying to be like Murder Grandpa. Yeah. But you're nowhere near it. Anyways, he throws it in the crowd, and I was sitting with Roy. So Roy's next to me. Roy gets it, right? And he was like, oh, I said, I'm surprised no one's come and grabbed the towel from you, because he uses that in the ring, right? And he goes, it's a towel, right? Well, no. So Roy spilled Red Bull on the floor. He used the towel to wipe it. And at one point, I was like, okay, Roy had gone somewhere real quick, and then it was the intermission, and then you hear Daniel Garcia on the mic. Hey guys, it's Daniel Garcia. If you have my towel, can you bring it back? Because I use it on TV. And I was laughing because it was right next to me, so I picked it up off the floor. And I go and I give it to them. And I was like, Roy next to me thought that, he thought that it was just a regular towel. Right. And they laughed about it because he also knows Robert Martyr, who he was tagging with Robert Martyr, some New Japan guy that was okay. Not that great. But it was funny because when I told Roy was like, oh, well, I also used it to blow my nose. I'm like, oh. So
that makes it better.
Yeah. So I really hope. I hope Daniel Garcia the towel.
I hope he did.
Well, no, but even then, that's a great story. So I just had I was just laughing. I couldn't help myself. So
good.
Yeah, but I did not tell Daniel Garcia that. But if he hears this, then
it's also funny because like you're making enough money, you could buy a bunch of those towels for you to be all like, I need my one towel back. Like you're at a small venue. You are a TV star, right? I mean, how many of these guys even come out? I mean, John Cena throws his hat into the crowd every time. He never goes, hey guys, give it back.
But he doesn't buy the hat. He just goes over to the merch booth or they have it ready for him in his locker room. That's different. That's different.
What?
Okay, let me tell you a true story. Okay.
Right. Go ahead. Tell me your true story. Right. Better be true.
I've watched Colt Cabana wrestle for many, many years.
That's
okay.
Well, already it's not fair because he's notoriously cheap.
Okay. Well, then I won't use him as an example then.
Use him and someone else. I want to hear the Colt
story
stuff.
Well, there's one towel that he uses in particular. It's white with this orange stripe in it. Okay.
Oh, cool.
He's had that towel forever. I don't know where it exactly came from, but all I know is as many of the years as I watch it, that's usually his go-to ring towel. If he doesn't have it, it means he probably forgot it at home. Anyways.
But also, see, that's a little bit different than just a plain black towel. That might be harder to find. A white towel with the orange stripe.
No, because he stole it at a hotel.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, no. Now, another person notorious for items, and I'm going to use Marty, okay? When he had the Bullet Club umbrella and those brollies, when they break, okay, no big deal, because, they hand one from merch, no big deal. But he's got some really nice umbrellas, and there was one where I remember a fan took it, and they were like, got to give it back, and the fan's like, no, that was mine. I'm like, that, and when I actually went to intervene, I said something because I'm like, that umbrella in particular, because I knew, I'm like, that was a gift from like a relative of his, okay? And it's a very fucking expensive umbrella. You probably should give it back. It was not for you to go and reach in and do it. And he goes, who the fuck are you? And I go, right now I'm going to be your worst fucking nightmare. So you better fucking give it. And I said, and if you give it back, you're going to get rewarded. And the guy was like, yeah. I said, watch. So I actually took it from the dude and I gave it to Marty, and I got Marty to come out and took pictures with the guy. Marty gave him some merch. Yeah. Because some of those things are sentimental to people, and then I told Marty, don't bring that anymore. Right. He's like, I didn't have time to go to a store and buy, and I go, I know. Anyway.
But at the same time, like when you're on what's supposed to be the second biggest wrestling company in the world on TV every week, and you're put out there all the time as a sports entertainer dude, and you have a plain black towel you're using, asking it back is really cheap.
Well, it was had a hole in it, so he's wearing it like a towel poncho. There's a hole in it. I was looking at it because Roy was like, why is there a hole in the middle? I said, oh, they use it as a towel poncho. I said, yeah, a lot of those old, in that heyday of like Carlito and Chris Masters and stuff, a lot of them when they were wrestling like in Puerto Rico and shit, because it's like you're dripping pure just sweat on sweat on sweat. You don't want to wear anything and you want to get your clothes ruined, so they would take a towel and cut a hole in it and wear it like a poncho. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't ask me if I know this kind of shit. I don't know. I can't balance a checkbook, but you know what? I can tell you about towel ponchos.
Which is good, because I'll be honest, NXT and Dynamite was not all that exciting to watch this week. There was a few things we'll talk about. But, so I want to hear more about the show you went to with Roy. Did you guys talk about me? What happened? Tell me. Of
course we talked about you.
Yeah.
And yeah. So the first thing was like, So Marsh went to cauliflower. When the hell am I getting you to go? And I go, I'm going to go next year. He says, because you can, have the fun. And he's asked me if I knew that, if did March tell you about the Rey Mysterio thing? And I go, yeah. And then he was telling me, he said, yeah, Conan was outside the building. He was like, oh, I'm by this door. No, outside the door. And I'm like, oh, dude. I said, that sounds like an adventure. You know me, I'm up for all of that stuff and, whatnot.
When he said he needed a hand, I didn't even hesitate. Absolutely.
No. And, it's funny because normal people, like, he would not, whatever, but because you're friends with me, I'm friends with Roy. Yeah. So Roy totally was like living it up. So he said that, had a lot of fun. He was excited to meet you and, and stuff. And yeah. And he's I
did feel like that was part of it. I felt like that he, with him knowing that we were friends, I felt like it gave him the impression that I wouldn't freak out in that situation, and he needed didn't know who he could ask. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. And then I know he's listened to us a couple of times. So hi, Roy. And he's in Roy. Right now. Yeah. Now I think right now he's in Mexico City right now. If I'm not
Triple Mania, right?
The Triple Mania, yeah, and then the Junkyard show. So he'll see Joey, and then he was telling me that after that, because I guess he's flying home through Orlando, because it was the best thing. So he's taking a little stop. He's going to go to that dude's store. You know, the guy that sells wrestling toys out of a storage unit? I can't remember his name. Cardona's been there 1,000,002 times.
I can't remember his name. I know who you're talking about, though.
But you know who I'm talking about. I told him, ooh, if they have Darby, can you please get me one? And he didn't know who Darby was. And he's like, oh, the Ricky Starfire. I said, yes, please. Yep. I will pay. And he is doing Sumi Sakai, her husband, is a jiu-jitsu instructor, so he's going on Tuesday to her class, and guess who is a student at that particular dojo and usually is there on Tuesdays? Whoop, whoop. So I told him, oh my god, tell Marty I said hi, and he goes, oh duh, of course,
Did you see Murder Grandpa was training with Matt Riddle the other day?
Yes, I did.
That was fucking cool.
That was fucking badass. I'm like, fucking Riddle, you're a badass dude. Yeah. People cheat. Okay, Matt Riddle, I don't have a problem with Matt Riddle. Okay, at first I was like, this guy's kind of it's kind of weird because he doesn't wear shoes. Okay, it creeps me out. Okay, and but he's a fucking dude. Like the people at PWG, he embraced that crowd. They all would go to Korean barbecue with him after, obviously smoking between and whatever, before, after, whatever. But he's a cool dude. And these guys cheat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about his whole story.
But anyways, he's a cool dude.
I got a selfie with him at one of the shows that I was ringside, and he came right, and he's like doing the thing, and I got a selfie with him, and that was cool.
But he's not like, for me, he's not like Janela, because Janela's a fucking man, I think. But but whatever, tomato. So
yeah, I need to go to another ECW show.
Yeah. So Roy was like totally like stoked. So he was like, oh my god, I can't imagine you here. And then Marsh and everything. I said most people probably couldn't imagine me there, or they're like, why haven't you been before? So
I think there was a lot of really cool stuff about it. You know what I mean? I do really want to go next year. I know that we're talking about in our personal lives moving to a different state that might not be as easy to get in and out of as far as Vegas goes. But I think ultimately I want to go back for the next one if at all possible, as long as I can. I think it'd be great. And then knowing where they do their thing, knowing the hotel that we found with the rates that we had, like flying in and out of there wouldn't be so bad, because I didn't use my car that much when I was there. I used it basically to drive in. I met up with one person one night on the outside. I drove out one morning and met somebody. I could have done a lot of that stuff with an Uber for not much.
Yeah, because that's how I feel when I do Sam's Town. Like when I would drive, because I've always driven. So when I would drive, it's like, okay, the only time I'm getting in the car is I'm going to Walmart across the street to buy a bunch of soda, so I don't have to pay, and it's a Pepsi thing. So I'm getting actually Coca-Cola. So I would drive there if I wanted to hit up, sponsored, not sponsored, So that's the only times I'd go in the car if I was buying Colt lunch or something. Yeah. Then he was like, just go in the subway. And I said, you know what, dude? The subway that's in the same town. I said, they're expensive.
Plus it's
I'm going to a subway. And he goes, Colt loves Subway. Don't have me go there. So I said, I'm saving money on your lunch. So I drove to a Subway, which actually was around the corner, but I didn't want to walk in the heat. So yeah.
I'll be honest, if Colt asked me to go pick up Subway, I would not be able to do it. I'll pick you up a lot of things. I will pick you up crack before I pick you up a Subway. Like, what are you talking about?
Why? Dude, I know his order. His order is the same. And it was funny because there was one night on his Twitch, someone was talking about Subway. And he was like, he said, I'm not a complicated man. And I had said, yeah, I know, because your Subway order is still the same after all these years. And he goes, you remember my Subway order? I go, of course. Hello. It used to be chicken breast, but now that they have the roasted chicken, it's roasted chicken. Now you were using the flatbread, but you stopped doing that for whatever reason. And you went back to doing wheat, but they have to shell out the innards of the bread.
Like it's a bagel?
No, it's not a bagel.
But that's how they do it in New York. If you don't tell them not to, they dig out the bagel bread and give you just the shell.
Yeah, no. So he likes it because it packs more food in. Okay. Okay, that's
more cream cheese in the bagel.
Well, we're not but we're not eating bagels here. So
talking bagels and sandwiches, I'm telling you.
Okay, so he gets this. Okay, he gets his double meat. Okay, he gets a little tiny bit of lettuce, pickles. Okay, no tomatoes or anything, and then we sprinkle on a little oregano, not too much, just a little bit, and a thin, tiny little strip. It has to be very thin, tiny little strip of honey mustard. And that is a Chipotle sandwich. I know it's Chipotle order because I used to. When he would do conventions like WrestleCon, we would buy him lunch because he couldn't leave the booth. You know.
I should jump into Colt Cabana's channel at some point and ask him for his Subway order and see if he says it the same way you do.
Mm-hmm. You will. And then he'll be. Did you talk to Amanda? Because she's the only one who ever I have it actually written down.
Can you imagine though if I went and transcribed it and then go into his thing as a chat? I heard this is your Subway order. Is this true? And to watch him just kind of what?
No, he'd be like, "Are you Amanda's friend?"
Yeah.
Because that's kind of, Now I'm just saying.
You know what's funny? Remember a couple weeks ago we raided his channel.
We did.
He pulled up a few clips of us. And it showed up on his stream. Us talking shit and stuff. It wasn't you. It was old clips of mine. It was me and Clump when we were both in studio and it wasn't a remote thing. The unfortunate part is he didn't pull up one where I farted right away because he probably would have loved it.
Oh, he would have loved that. Oh, my God. He would have been laughing. And if you had said balls or something, he'd laugh, Yeah. I know him well.
Balls.
Yeah, he would.
Colt Cabana classic.
Total. Yeah, no, it's right here. I have other people's thing in here, but his, yeah.
All right. Let's see. It was pretty cool. You went to the show. I thought it was really fun that you ended up sitting next to Roy. And it made me wonder if he double checked to verify if you actually knew me or not.
No, Roy's the kind of person that I've known Roy for years.
And we got along really well afterwards. At the end of the whole thing, the last night, I found him downstairs and he was just standing there and we just talked about all kinds of wrestling and podcasting and we talked for a while. And so it was really cool. And I was like, I want to help out next year. If nothing else, I want to make you these videos that you can use. If I can't make it, I want to be able to do
excited. He's excited about that too. So, which they need it, it's a great step up because it's really shitty to know that they just kind of here, have some whatever. Or not even given.
They did what they could, and some of them were great, but there was a couple of them where I thought, this person probably deserves a little bit better than this, and I would like to deliver that if I could. And it's not that they was disrespectful, but you kind of want to fluff it up a little bit, man. They're getting an award, they're getting this thing and that. And actually, I want to reach out to him too because I think I want to interview David Cantu.
Absolutely, reach out to Roy. Absolutely, his box is always open. Or if you want, I can hit him up. Not when he's in Mexico right now. I'm gonna do that. But
yeah, it's true. When he's back from Mexico, let me know so I can hit him up.
Yeah. Well, definitely, I'm probably going to see him in. Well, see, I wanted to go to King of Indies, but because Takeshita's coming back, and that's the only reason why I wanted to go. Tony Khan told him he can't do that because that's Full Gear weekend, I believe. Oh, fuck you, Tony Khan. Fuck you for doing that. This is a guy you haven't even signed yet. You know, let people,
that's true too. And we were talking about a little bit earlier with Ariel Helwani, how he was talking about how frustrating it was to interview him. Meltzer had said online in a tweet, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but he said more or less that he's been pretty frustrated with some of his conversations with Tony as of late, that even in the media scrums, he feels like he asks a question, he gets the runaround. And Dave said it different, and you're welcome to go to his Twitter to find it, and you'll see what he said verbatim, and it's not a far stretch. I'm not trying to exaggerate much, but he expressed a frustration in speaking with Tony. And then one of the accounts I saw found a clip from Sean Ross Sapp on his Fightful podcast thing that just even that clip made me so happy I don't subscribe. But in the clip, Sean does mention that he flew to Toronto to cover AEW in Toronto, which we're about to talk about. And that he reached out to AEW media 3 different occasions and got no response back on any occasion. And when you have someone U.S. based flying into another country to cover your event who you have this relationship with already, and you're not even responding to them, this ghosting of it, there seems to be a lot of problems there with what the communication was with the... Tony Khan's big thing right away was we're going to be real friendly and buddy with the wrestling media. You know what I mean? They were taking an approach.
But that's why you got all of these like fan people wanting to be media, and all these fly-by-night podcasters.
You have a bunch of that. And I think also Tony is a student of the game, right? Tony's been a fan for so long. He was a fan in the 90s. He's talked about being a fan during the ECW era. What was happening during that era? Where did Tony grow up? He's not from Florida, right?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. But it's interesting to me because, you know, he's got the Izzies of the world now over there. AJ's awesome. He loves those people because they're not going to ask him the hard shit. He does not want me there, even though technically I'm like, hey, Tony Khan, Wrestling on the Rocks over here. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I want Tony on this show.
He'd be all, I'm like, so.
After hearing him on Busted Open and seeing how he handled that, I don't want him on our show.
He
went to college in Illinois.
No, I'd go to a media scrum and do it there. I'm not wanting him on the show. God damn, no.
2001, Illinois. Oh. So he was kind of growing up in Illinois, but he was a tape trader type. My point is this, is like when I listen to, and I'm working, clearly I'm working with John Arezzi on the Pro Wrestling Spotlight, him and Bob Smith talking about old tapes that John did back in the 90s when he had to pay to be on air. He would pay to host what we're essentially doing now for free and everyone else is doing for free. He used to pay to do it on a radio show that was local. It was, you know, depending on the size of the radio show, it would only go so many miles, right?
Yeah.
He had some people who would go up into like the mountains with like a fucking tin can to get his radio show in because he was one of the few shows talking about wrestling all the time. When you listen to some of those shows back in that era, Vince McMahon had cut off the wrestling media in a harsh way, and you can hear it in John's voice. You can hear it in Vince Russo when they're talking, when they were working together for a short period of time. And you definitely hear it with Meltzer that, like, there's a shift from when they were working and Vince McMahon was open to talking to the wrestling media to the steroid trial. The steroid trial shifted all of that because then the Arezzis, the Meltzers, the Russos, they wanted to get, I mean, Russo didn't do it so much as Arezzi and Meltzer. They wanted to get like the news. They were talking to all the wrestlers. They were talking to the Billy Grahams and the Bruno Sammartinos and stuff who had a lot of negative things to say who were part of the suit, right? You can hear the shift in their tone when they talk about it. And you can hear how much they like Kip Fry at one point takes over WCW, comes on the show right away. Yep, we want to be friendly with the wrestling media, and suddenly it's the Kip Fry era is going to be amazing. We love this guy. We love what he's going to do, right? It's not to say these guys were ever like swooned or dumb or anything like that, but it's just the nature. They were young. they had access, they're going to be biased. And they probably were a little too in the mix of it to realize that they're biases at the time, right? You see that now with this, where Tony was going to be taking that route. Look, Vince has always cut off the media.
Yeah.
And the media responded very negatively to that. Tony wanted to embrace the wrestling media to get their bias on his side. Whether they knew it or not, whether it was subconscious or not, they were going to be biased towards him because he was friendly to them. And look at how open I'm being with you. Look at the access I'm giving you. Look at, I'm not hiding behind anything. I don't have anything to hide like the evil empire, the Fed, as people like to say. Now that Tony is getting in a little bit of like mix in the back and things are starting to sound a little negative, he's starting to cut them off a little bit. And I'm wondering how that's going to play off long term with these same media outlets. I think people who are in the mix of it, honestly enough, I think they don't understand their own bias. And I think that that's okay. I think they're just not mature enough to see their bias because they want to present themselves and believe in themselves to be a certain way. They're very, very young. They're given very much a lot of access, and they don't believe they would be swayed. But there's no way to not be swayed by somebody who's offering you things for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's completely innocent. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. Like, I'm just saying I'll be curious to see what happens if Sean Ross Sapp continues to be stonewalled by Tony and his media team, and how AEW is presented in his tweets moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, suddenly it's closed off. Like, he can be a bit scorned, and people wear it on their sleeve and they don't try to. And it's not, I'm not trying to knock them. I'm really not. It's just, man, bias is a real thing, and it takes a lot of looking outside of yourself to see your own biases.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm old enough and dumb enough to know when I'm being super biased. And sometimes I even present it that way. I'm like, hey, Sami Zayn did the greatest thing ever on TV, right? Or am I totally biased because I've loved him for so long at this point, right? But I wonder what's going to happen now that Tony's on larger platforms. Ariel Helwani's a massive platform to be stonewalling now.
Yeah, and for Ariel Helwani to be visibly, like,
upset.
You could see it and think, what the fuck? Like,
yep.
I don't care about the fucking, they gave you the book about, you know, whatever the fuck. You know, what did he, what was the term, the book about, when he keeps talking about McDonald's and Burger King and all that bullshit, right? The whatever book it was, like, to be, not different, but be, what, there's a word that it was. I can't remember. But you could just see it, like, I don't want to hear this fucking story again. Just fucking tell me an answer. Yeah. And I mean, you know, I'm biased as fuck. Okay.
Yeah, and but that's also fine if you can acknowledge it.
And I
but
know
journalists have a hard time acknowledging because they want to believe that they can't be biased.
That, and a lot of these wrestler hipsters are the same thing. And I'm like, look, okay, and some people are, I don't understand why you like this one. You love wrestling because there's a bias I have. I'm like, yeah, someone can be a great wrestler, but if they're a shit person, why the fuck do I want to spend money on that?
Yeah.
Push money that way. You know?
In the chat real quick, Splinter Fox coming through. Cheers to Splinter Fox. Cheers. Haven't seen him in a bit. Glad he's coming through. He said Chicago, answering my Tony Khan question. He said good. I stopped with all the dirt sheets. Hell yeah. Grim Reaper coming through. Hi. Do you see Grim Reaper's subscriber badge? 16 month subscriber, Grim Reaper.
Holy damn.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Good dude. Grim Reaper's a good dude.
I like good people.
He's good people. Speaking of good people, Splinter Fox says I'm happy for the Good Brothers. I am too. We talked about it yesterday, Splinter Fox. What I'm happy for them most is that I think that they're about to embark on some of their happiest times in the business, given how frustrated they've been over the past number of years. I'm really excited that they're going to be working with AJ. They're going to be working for Triple H. Whatever happens and how much we like it or not, I just get the impression that they're going to be very happy with what they do over the next 5 years. Yeah. Like, very happy. I wouldn't be surprised if they were retire after 5 years and say, how are you going to beat that? You know what I mean? It wouldn't shock me that they get so happy that they wrap it up. But
yeah. I'm just sad that we might not see them on the Jericho Cruise.
Definitely you don't see them on the Jericho Cruise. There's no fucking way. There's no way. But
it's okay. That's fine. It's okay. It's okay. You know. At least have one friend on there.
Blue Boy says hi to them. Blue Boy says, yeah, but much for the good brothers in WWE. I didn't like the stupid crap they were doing on the indies as much as I wanted to support them. Yeah, that's always been a thing with them. I like them so much that I always check out what they're doing, and I don't always like what they're doing. I watch stuff and go, I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what they can do with a little direction.
I'll tell you, I was a huge fan of the Southpaw wrestling. That was just beautiful.
You love Southpaw wrestling?
Oh yeah, that was beautiful. Well, no, because they're the ones that they made me really watch it because I love what they do, right? And that was just beautiful. And
fantastic.
Yeah, it was just fantastic. And I like that kind of shit. We don't have enough of it. It's too everyone's too political.
Yeah, that's a good point. That was a lot of fun. And Natalia looked like she had so much fun on there. And anytime people are making Natalia happy in the back, I get happy for that. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it just was a great place for Fandango. I was like, oh, this is great.
That's good news. Yeah. Grim Reaper says you rock, and Splinter Fox says I can only hope the Elite jump ship. Now is the time. That is so funny for so many reasons, and I completely disagree. I want them to stay in their pig pen forever. I don't need them on my good TV. They can stay in the mud. I'm just kidding.
No.
I just haven't enjoyed anything they've done in AEW to be excited if that were to happen. I think that the precedent they'd be setting would be very interesting, and it'd be fascinating to watch, and I would be excited in that, well, what are we going to get now? But they haven't done anything that makes me go, I can't wait to see them next time. So I wouldn't be excited in that regard. Like, oh, look at what we got. I wonder what they're going to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And also, I think that going back to this, and I know I said it on episode 1, that, like this is not the company that we were sold on. We were swindled.
There's that, yeah. Split Fox says, come on, man. So many storylines been NJPW to be finished. Maybe. I don't know all their storylines there. I'm saying since AEW. There's a lot of NJPW stuff they did, and I know that the NJPW stuff is what got Clump so excited for AEW, and he's been nothing but disappointed in the Elite since they got to AEW. So I agree with you, Splinter Fox, that you and Clump and many other would be super excited. For me, I didn't watch all their NJPW stuff, so I'm really basing it off their AEW run. And I go, well, it'll be interesting to see what they do. That's not to say that they couldn't overcome and surpass any expectation I have for them. I'm not saying I would immediately not watch anything they would do. I would be glued to the TV when they came on if it was WWE, because I'd be like, what are they going to do? What is this? And I think guys like Michael Cole and Corey Graves could tell that story. And he goes, Spinner Fox said it would be wild if Cody won the title from Roman with the help of the Elite. Could be. Like, that would be crazy, right? I'm just saying, nothing they've done in the past 5 years has made me excited about seeing them again in any given moment. So if they came over, it would be an exciting thing, but I don't know what I'd be more excited to see what they do and not as excited about what I've seen done happening here. You know what I mean? Like how Cody shed AEW off of him. It was crazy. Like when even the promos he cut was like, I'm moving directly forward into my story about my legacy. And he shed everything that had happened about AEW. You know what I mean? And it was, I think if they did something like that, it could be sick. Yeah,
which they might, because that was some bullshit they got into. But I also want to say, just now that you mentioned Cody, there's certain people that wrestle for AEW that were this weekend in Atlanta at the Nightmare Factory.
A lot of people go through the Nightmare Factory that you would never know about.
It was somebody that is behind my shoulder.
There's a lot of people who go through AEW's or who go through the Nightmare Factory that you would never know about. A lot of people from both companies. It's not a bad place to go through. It's not a shock that he would be there. There's a lot of other names I could give you at another time about people who come through there.
Oh, yeah, no. But what I'm saying is, the reason why I'm saying this is because I don't think there's anything left for him.
Yeah, I wonder.
So, I wouldn't be surprised, because your BFFLs over there, they're not going to help you out, because it's all about them. They don't care. They really don't care. And that's a rude awakening.
This is interesting. Spinner Fox says, I really want to blank out the last 3 years now. Because I have a scary feeling that Punk is going to get thrown back into the title picture due to how Mox is hinting it. If that is the case, I'm officially done with them. Punk is a virus and is killing them.
Yeah, if
I
Punk
think
does
that wouldn't be... I don't think you'd be isolated in that, Splinter Fox. I think that you would be amongst many who would be tired of it.
why can't they just give the Bucks, like, why can't you just give them fucking Ring of Honor? He's like, I'm gonna take the library.
Because that's such a clear... First off, Tony Khan still does not own all of Ring of Honor.
Who owns the rest of it then?
Sinclair still owns most of it.
Oh.
He got the rights when someone pulled up the trademark stuff. It was like he owns like the trademark, the logo. He owns like the name, but they still own like the entity of. So he's still battling over the ownership and trying to get full ownership. So there's a lot of complication in there. There's a lot of complication in the TV deal the AEW already has, which I really can't go into, but there's a lot of complicated stuff there. I don't think Warner is looking to add another AEW thing without a massive renegotiation, based off some of the rumblings that I've heard. I think that if you were to tell the Elite they can run Ring of Honor, it is automatically, immediately lesser than. It is suddenly the misfit toys, right? It's here's the people who we don't want to deal with. This is where we put them.
But they're all good people.
So what? So what? They could do it amazingly, but I'm saying they would feel slighted if they were offered it.
No, I don't think
they couldn't do it.
I don't think so. Better than what they were getting. Even though it was like, oh, they're booking their own shit.
It would not at all be better than. They would feel totally slighted. Hey, here's what I'll do for you. You can book this other piece of shit thing that I'm barely doing anything with and don't know how to handle anyways. Take this off my back. It would feel like lesser than. Absolutely.
But they could do what they wanted to do.
And they would do an amazing job with it.
Yeah.
But I think that they would feel slighted, and I think that their egos would not allow that.
Yeah. I think their egos don't allow the fact that, you know what? They're not top of the merch game anymore.
Yes. I think their egos have made a lot of plays on what's happened recently. Blue Boy says, I don't see Punk coming back anywhere. Me neither. I honestly don't see a use for Punk anymore.
No, and I'm sorry if you guys still are on Team Punk, and I'm not saying this because of whatever. You really are stupid. You're probably dumb. You're probably like, your parents probably hate you. You don't really have friends. Bet you've had a dog or cat, they probably randomly attack you because you're just an evil person. But but I have a friend of mine, diehard CM Punk fan, and I said to him, you know what? You and I are never going to see eye to eye to that. And
my brother is a diehard CM Punk fan, and after all that stuff happened, he sent me a text and he goes, I think you may have been right about Punk all along. And I was all like, I think I'm pretty smart, dude.
Yeah, I've told my friends, I go, hey, I've told you so. And they're like, well, I still don't believe you. And I go, if you don't believe me, then you know what? You probably think the earth is flat. You probably voted for Trump, and you probably, like, I don't know, you enjoy paying $6 a gallon for gas. You're fucking sadistic.
Yeah, favorite coffee is Starbucks. Spinner Fox says, I'm so fed up with the women's division AEW. So much talent. So T's answer is just doing 6 women tag team match for more TV time. That is a crock. They got 10 minutes this time. It wasn't at the 9:24 minute, which is something. But yeah, there was a bunch of bullshit surrounding it. I'm really not fucking happy with it. Let's talk some AEW and NXT real quick. I don't want to go segment by segment.
Real quick. Because you mentioned women and not liking it. So the mom, I forgot her birthday, the mom of one of the AEW women, Sweet Saraya Knight, happy birthday.
Saraya's mom?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Yeah, happy birthday to her.
Yeah, she is so awesome. I got to meet her.
She's a badass.
And she is a fucking badass. She's a badass, and you know who else is a badass? Is fucking Mark Haskins' wife. She's fucking badass.
I'm going to ask Medusa if she ever wrestled her. Because I'd be curious. Because they're both badasses.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Spin Fox, you haven't been on for a while. I started working for John Arezzi, and I'm working for Medusa, so keep your eyes peeled. All Elite Wrestling.
I wonder if I'm sure she probably has some good, like, Luna Vachon stories. Luna's fucking crazy.
We've had some great conversations off air so far. We're going to start recording coming up pretty soon, and I'm hoping to kind of drag. Her thing is this, and you're going to hear it in the first few episodes. She's not a big fan of talking about wrestling.
Nope.
But she knows also that I'm such a big fan of wrestling that she is willing to roll her eyes and answer a question or two from time to time, and we're going to have a lot of fun with those moments, right? And plus, I'm a shill, and we know it. She's got a WWE Legacy contract, and we know it. So I'm a safe interview. You know? So yeah, I'm not going to say anything or try and drag anything out of her that's going to be awfully negative. And you guys know that generally speaking, as much as Splinter Fox will tell you I shit on AEW all the time, I do try to lean towards the positive and what I do like more than what I don't like. And when things really upset me, then I guess we dig in deep on what we don't like and why, because we're trying to have that conversation. Not just, you suck, this sucks, everything sucks, but this is what I didn't like about it. Like, I'd like to take it apart. You know what I mean? Because once you take it apart completely, maybe you can put it back together better, right? And that's why we dig in negatively on stuff, is that we're trying to tear it apart bit by bit to figure out how it could be better, right? Because the idea isn't to shit on something. It's to find a way for you to see a light somewhere, find a way to say, this could be better, but until we break down all the reasons why it's bad, we'll never know how it could be good.
Yeah.
Right? Depending on how you don't like stuff. So that's why we do the conversation, talk about the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
AEW did open up with Renee Paquette's debut. She's all elite. Mox's wife, Mrs. Mox, the queen of hardcore. Is there a purveyor of violence is what he calls himself? Is there like a feminine version of purveyor of violence? I don't know. But
it can be the curator of
curator of purveyor.
I don't know.
That works for me. So she came out. She said, "Welcome to AEW." So it was a Toronto. This felt cheap pop to me. I'm going to be honest. I think it's cool, but it felt super cheap pop. We're going to have her open the show. I'm Renee Paquette. Here's the deal. I love Renee. I think she's fantastic. Tell me what you thought. This felt to me a little bit. I don't feel like she took AEW as seriously as she took WWE right off the bat. She came out, she said it's Toronto, she's laughing, she's looking out there, she starts saying stuff, she's laughing, and I feel like if it was WWE and Vince, she would have not come off so much all like, we're all just having fun, right? Whatever, it's just wrestling. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. And that's why I felt like immediately I was like, oh, it's not like she's going to bring a serious edge to this. Like, she's out here goofing off with everyone else. But it was fine. It was nice in the moment. She did her interview thing, which was really short. She did it a couple of times throughout the show. Very much, she played it out a little bit. She was good. She was good. She was better than they normally get. But a lot of people are saying online, I want to know your take on this. They're saying she is the Mean Gene Okerlund since Mean Gene Okerlund. That no one between Mean Gene and Renee has ever been as good as or equal to Mean Gene as Renee. I don't feel the same. I think she's very, very good, but I honestly, without trying to be disrespectful at all, because I'm not, I don't think she's better than Kayla Braxton. I think Kayla does an amazing job of what she's doing. You know what I mean? Like, I could probably go back and forth if you wanted to say who was better on this one or that. Yeah, toss up on an episode, really. Like, I think by saying that about Renee, you're super undermining Kayla and her skills. And I don't think either one of them would want to do that. I think they're both incredible. I think we're in a good point in wrestling right now where we have a lot of people who take it seriously and do it the right way and still show personality. You know what I mean? I think they both do a very good job of that. So I'm happy that she's in AEW. I think they need it. I think you can't just have Tony out there every single time for every single segment, you know? What do you think about Renee's debut?
Her debut was cool. I'm like, about time. But since Mox got that nice big contract, then it's only suiting that, you know, the wife's coming along for the ride. It's nice because Shivani gets stale.
Yeah.
Let's go there. We really don't see Dasha, so I'm like,
I don't know why we don't see her more. I thought she was very good as well.
I do like Dasha, and I'm like, why
Renee's
don't we?
probably better if I'm being fair, but Josh is very
But
good.
but Dasha is very, very good. Okay,
Mm.
I think for what she's given, she's very good.
I think she's
Okay.
very underrated for what she's. Yeah.
Exactly, she is, and I think that it's nice to have Renee,
It's
but
nice.
again, you're going into that I want to be WWE vibe again.
Yeah, a little close to that.
And I'm like, bro, we get it. We get it. Because let me tell you, if I had his money and I was running AEW, let me tell you, it would be something completely different. And
Mm.
yeah. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't see, the same people over and over again. You wouldn't see like it wouldn't be like this because you know you have to like with long-term storytelling, and I think that that that's my thing. I love the long term storytelling.
Mm.
When you start something and then you kind of just wander away from it and you never come back to it, and then all of a sudden boom, here it is again. You're like, why should I care? You got to see it through.
Mm.
And I think that it's important that we that you do that with fans, because yeah, who cares if they're a casual viewer? Okay, because most of these people, like, I'm sorry, but there are people right now getting pushes that should not be getting pushes. The gun club, I mean,
Sure,
no
but let's
offense.
stay on topic for just right now with the
Yeah, but
Renee
no, but I'm
thing.
thinking, but no, but seriously, it's like, with Renee, it's like this is just, 2.0. Who are you going to get next? From over
Yeah,
there,
I feel
you
like a
know?
lot of this show was cheap Canadian pops and not much of a show that felt important and cohesive. It felt like a Canadian show, which I
So,
thought was nice for those moments and those pops, but it didn't feel like it mattered. Spinner Fox
can they
does
do
say in the chat because Spinner Fox is keen to the derailing. He goes, kind of
Mhm.
sad about Cole. Just hope his health is okay. Yeah, something came out today saying he may never wrestle again. They're really trying to figure out about his health, and
Oh,
I
Adam
don't
Cole
know.
Bad?
Yeah, Adam Cole.
Oh
I don't
man.
know. Apparently he's had a pretty bad concussion in her neck or something, or and I
Oh,
think
well, I
Kyle
hope his
O'Reilly had
wife.
a neck fusion, which he may never wrestle either. So it's really
Yeah,
a lot's going on over there.
I hope his wife, keeps sucking up, making that other money.
That's true. Spin
Wonder-
Fox does say that new Mattel Attitude ring. I'm sold going to get it since I missed my chance the first ring. I'll be honest with you, Spinner Fox. When I saw that ring come out, I was almost upset that I got the new gen ring and not the Attitude ring because I like it so much more than the new gen ring. But the new gen ring is much more valuable, so I'm definitely not getting rid of it. Uh, but yeah, that Attitude ring looks fucking sick. I'm hoping they sell at least bits so I could maybe buy like ring aprons and ropes to at least make my new gen one look like a ring, But and Spinner Fox says it's WCW all over again. Mox is getting paid till the ship sinks. She's getting paid as well, but she is with the Bengals too, so she's getting that money half-assed. Go ahead, get that money, girl. So Renee's doing something with the Bengals. I know she was doing a podcast with Misha Tate. I didn't know she was working with the
Yeah.
Bengals. That's interesting. But I felt very similar about what he's saying. When I saw Renee, my first thought wasn't, what an amazing get for AEW. I went, oh, what easy money for Renee.
Yeah.
Like, it felt to me like Renee gets to travel with her husband now.
They bring the baby.
They have the baby. They bring the baby along. It feels like Mox has doubled down, tripled down, really. That since the Punk thing went the way that it went, that Mox, I think, is putting the company on his back. I really do. And I think that Mox wants this company to succeed more than anything because he wants wrestlers to have another option, because whether or not he would or wouldn't work well with Triple H going back, because I think he would and I think he'd have a good time. I think he knows it. But I think he doesn't forget the amount of time he spent there, that he was unhappy and felt like he had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think he wants AEW to succeed so badly so no one ever feels stuck like that. I think that's noble, and I think it's very cool.
But there are people who are stuck like that.
Yes, there are.
So,
but they don't have nowhere to go. He wants there to be another option, right? And so it's like, hey, and maybe the other team's not offering anything, but the idea that there are options, right?
Yeah.
So when I saw Renee, I went, oh, Mox doubled down, extended his contract, So instead of Renee waiting it out to see if he wanted to stay, now he's like, I'm staying here till the ship sinks because I want to make this work and I'm putting the company on my back. Then she comes in showing up like, I'm going to do whatever I can to also help him make it last. And maybe I can bring some credibility. Maybe I can bring some sort of something. You know what I mean? And I think that's cool. But yeah, it didn't feel like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
He does say Dash is on the Spanish commentary team, which is interesting, but I've heard a lot of negative things about that team lately. I've heard there was a report by Meltzer that they were making up Spanish words that weren't real.
What?
That the commentary team doesn't speak fluent Spanish very well. And so they've been losing Spanish viewership, and that's why their numbers are dropping, which is a really funny spin on it, but I don't know. Spin Fox wants my doink. I got the Macho Man, just came in. Spin Fox says she has a show with the Bengals, which sounds cool, but yeah, it seems like easy money. Go ahead, Amanda.
No, I was going to say, when's AEW going to do a show in Delaware? And then you and I can come and host it and do Delaware jokes. That'd be fucking great.
That'd be great. That'd be great. We can host it.
I think we are the connoisseurs of Delaware jokes.
Chicken nuggets.
Delawarean and their chicken nuggets that should come out of pinatas. Which, by the way, speaking of which, you know that they have the adult Happy Meals, right?
They do have adult Happy Meals. It's a very Delaware thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, wow, the chicken nuggets were one of the adult meals, and I will say that. I wonder if people are listening, because next thing I know, if someone makes like a little piñata.
It's the Delaware special, the Delaware Happy Meal.
Delaware special.
I think that what we would do too is if they did a show in Delaware, we would just bring a bunch of chicken nuggets, and when we were booing, instead of throwing garbage, everyone would just swat the ring full of nuggets.
No, you know what would be great is, you know how they have t-shirt guns? If we could just load them with chicken nuggets and shoot them out to the crowd, that'd be great. Or they rain like Okada when he comes out, the Rainmaker. It's just nuggets, nuggets everywhere.
Nuggets. Fox says this is really off topic, which is his MO. He goes, but Triple H bringing back so much talent again. TV time a factor. People happy, but I'm concerned the roster getting really full again. I agree with you, and I think that's kind of the give and take of it. But it does seem like Triple H is more inclined to build factions, which I think is interesting. We're seeing a lot more groupings, so you won't just get an AJ segment. You're going to get an AJ with the club segment that also includes all of Judgment Day. You know what I mean? So, boom, you've got 15 people on TV, and you've got 6 stories going on simultaneously. Just think of Nation of Domination, Degeneration X, and Disciples of Apocalypse, how they all were intertwined for a while, and you had basically 25 people who all had one-on-one stories with other people within those 3 factions, and you were able to get 20 guys on TV at once. Yeah. I get a feeling we're getting closer to that. But it's
that New Japan. It's the New Japan.
Yes.
With all the factions and everybody kind of intertwined and here, there, and everywhere. Yeah.
Anything about the Luchasaurus or Jungle Boy thing?
I hate Luchasaurus. That's all I gotta say about that.
All right.
I don't know why we're dragging this bullshit out.
Me neither. Ego, Private Party, Matt Hardy, all that stuff backstage.
I really wish Ego would wrestle. That was my comment. He's from Canada. He's from the area.
Yeah.
An hour away. What the fuck? He moved. He moved for you, Tony Khan. He moved to the States. He moved his whole family.
Yeah. Ron Fox says Owens hurt. I think he got that Roman contract. I don't know. I got the new Kevin Owens Panda shirt, so I'm excited.
It's rad.
But
I like that.
I'm wondering if they're waiting for Owens to come back when Elias comes back, because they've announced his return, and Kevin Patrick even said, I wonder what Kevin Owens is going to say about that, which is really funny. So I'm wondering if they're just letting him have a couple weeks and they'll bring him in. Like, we might see, because they don't have an off time, we might see more times where we see people a little bit less, and then when we see them for a while, and then they're gone again, and rotate through your staff a little bit. That's not the best thing, worst thing.
Here's an off-topic question. Do you think
give him breaks? Yeah.
Do we think we're going to see Cena wrestle before his streak of being on, WWE TV for, what is it, 20 some odd years? What is it, 20?
That's a good question. I think that Cena, doesn't want to say that 2022 was the first year he never wrestled a match in WWE.
Yeah.
I think he comes back for ooh, what could he come back for at this point? Because if he waits till Rumble, that's next year.
Yeah.
Survivor Series, maybe, but if it's not Survivor Series, there's nothing in December. I wonder if they make him like a surprise for Elimination Chamber or some shit.
It could.
Like put that in December, have a mystery person in there, and it just is him. And he's got a little bit of a match. He says he had a match and he's out. I don't know.
I'll see you next year at some point.
Yeah, see you next year.
Yeah, or no, he'll probably be at WrestleMania. Come on now. There's no way.
Spinner Fox says that was a dumb finish where they were waiting just Christian to get healthy. Yeah, I don't like any of that stuff. I don't like the other thing. Wardlow, Samoa Joe versus Factory and AEW Dynamite. Felt like static to me, but do you have anything you want to say about it?
Well, one thing I will say is I think this is like the first time where I didn't feel like Joe was completely gassed the whole time. So good for Joe. Yeah. Not saying he's in, Joe form, true form, but at least he wasn't gassed. Wardlow, not a fan. It's boring. So you're a big guy and rah, So you power bombed Cage like 4 times. So what? Doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So.
Billy Gunn and Sterling, anything on that? It was fine.
It was fine. Match. I mean, if we're using Swerve to like job to people like Billy Gunn, then you know what? That is not a use of Swerve.
Swerve won.
I know he did, but still.
Yeah, it still was close.
Why? And everybody loves the Acclaimed. We get it. Everyone loves the scissor.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit about that whole aftermatch thing with the whole contract and Tony Nese owns the rights to scissor me. Like, all that was so fucking stupid.
Tony Nese.
Yeah, and he's bad.
He's just bad. I'm like, wow.
Spinner Fox says, like AEW should have done that crazy talent, but that roster is being depleted, injury being cut, ghosted, etc. I don't know what that sentence meant to say. He says, I'm not a fan of anybody in that segment. FTR was Punk smell all over it. I feel different about them now since he is with the Punk camp. Yeah, I feel like that was kind of a bummer to find out how close they were to Punk, and it was just like...
You're dumb. You're fucking dumb.
Yeah, they were like excusing a lot of stuff because they're like, well, he's Punk, man. Like, so fucking what?
And assholes and assholes and asshole. They're all brown. They're tiny and shitty.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, the Moxley Hangman Page segment I liked.
That was great. That fire that was lit under fucking Hangman's ass. I'm like, where has that been?
Yeah. Where's that been? I did like that. Although it did seem like Page got in over his head when he was punching himself. He kept checking afterwards because he goes,
oh my God, he did. Like, he totally welted himself.
He welted really bad. And then he kept checking his hand because you could tell he was like, ah, shit. Because he also... Yeah, because he was also in his mind, I'm sure, like, I was trying to look intense and I might have actually fucked up my match. I don't know if I can wrestle now.
He's like, fuck, I got too excited. But you know what? It brought another dimension to Hangman that, you know what, people, there's still some good shit that can come out of him. Yes. So that's what I kind of, the point of it. But I did have to giggle because it kept hitting when he was checking it. And I was just like, because you could see it in his eyes at one point, like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
What did I
do? Yeah. Like, to me, as good as it was, he also came off as super young. And I mean that in that he felt like he probably hurt himself, which is funny.
Yeah.
He started saying, like, he was going off that whole, like, mental health thing again. His whole story being wrapped on mental health feels a little awkward. But he's like, the meds aren't working. I'm like, okay. And then, what was the other thing he said? Oh, but I'm here because I'm a man.
I'm a man.
Fuck off. The whole, like, machismo thing. Like, I get it. You're in combat sports is the concept, and the testosterone is high. But anytime someone's like, are you man enough? What are your balls not big enough? I'm always like, fuck off. You sound like a little bitch when you ask if someone else is man enough.
You say the same thing in WWE.
When WWE does it. I hate it. Drew McIntyre's been doing that left and right. Are you man enough to step up to me carrying cross? I was like, why are you trying to see his dick? Like, when
my thing would be
when a dude's asking another dude about the size of his balls and if he's man enough to get wrestling with him, it feels like he's saying, I really want to know what your balls and dick feel like. And that might be fine to do, But it feels like a real weird way to skirt around the issue. Just say you're really sexually interested in this dude, and I'm more comfortable personally. But you're like masking this weird homoeroticness in your fight sequence, and I'm not into that. Just be honest. Just say like, hey man, I kind of want to grab your dick in this ring. You want to do it? And I'd be like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. Like, hey Ricky, can I slap your ass? Cause
yeah,
damn, you know.
Can I thumb your butt, dude? And then the dude's all like, yeah, I actually enjoy my butt thumbed.
I really, really wish that Ricky would do the pants drop spot.
I know you want Ricky to drop his pants. That is a whole other
I can
thing.
watch that anytime. I had someone sent me a really great screenshot of one. I'm like, whoa, hi. But no. I mean, yeah, if you're not going to use them, at least use them for shits and gigs. Get your ratings up that way.
Spin Fox does say, would it be wild if MJF wins the title, pulls Ric Flair, and takes the title to WWE? I mean, obviously, yes. I think... So the reason Ric Flair did that back in 92 was because back in that era, you had to put... If you were going to be champion, you had to put money down. He had to pay, I think it was $10,000 to be champion, because the idea was to
That's
make
why
sure...
That's why he's never been a champion.
He's never been a champion, can't afford it. So the idea that the idea was that if you paid $10,000 or $25,000, whatever it was, the NWA was worth more than the others, right? If you're going to be my champion, to put money down to prevent people from doing that thing of taking the title somewhere else. Well, what had happened was Flair had put that money down, and then the company was taken over, I believe, at that point by Kip Fry, and then right after Kip Fry was Bill Watts. And I don't remember if it was Watts or Kip, but one of them had said, you didn't give me that down payment. I don't owe you a cent. And he said, okay, then we don't have an agreement, and took the title to WWE to say, this is why you pay back that money. You know what I mean? I put money down so I don't do this. That's why you give it back, right? Mm-hmm. If MJF did it, it would have a whole other meaning. And so it could be interesting in a totally other aspect. I wonder if it would just come down to a copyright thing at that point. And if you watch back in those days in 92, they would blur out the big gold belt. It had pixels over it because they didn't want that kind of problem. But Twitter Fox says, it pissed me off how the Elite was mentioned. I really hope they leave just to stick it to T. I think it'd be neat. Because I was rooting for Drew versus Killer. I don't like the dude that and the finish made Killer weak with his wife helping him to win. No, it made him smart with not having to put so much effort into it and cheating when you can. Amanda, anything you want to say about MJF taking the title to WWE?
That's not going to happen.
It's not happening.
If it does happen, Tony Khan will OD.
Ooh,
we'll all know.
That's a great call.
Yeah, we'll all know. We will all know. There's no way he would go manic. Yeah. Can you imagine that little man and his the twitching that his body would do, the convulsing and everything?
It'd be all over the place.
He'd be all over the place. He'd be throwing shit. People would be all, oh my God. He'd be like Herculean for a moment and try to throw Keith Lee, and probably hurt his back or whatever, but the adrenaline is just enough that, asking fucking VMD for Novocaine or something to ease his sorrow. Yeah.
You know how Tony would solve that issue too? He'd have Jericho go out on TV and say something. Jericho would be like, trust me, I know how to handle this. And then he would not handle it well.
Nope. He'd go into business for himself. Yeah.
Spinner Fox says you'd be like a stick figure running around all wild. He goes, I think MJF got paid. Yeah, MJF got paid.
Yeah.
Spinner Fox, just for you, check out Not Sam Wrestling. He did an interview with MJF last week. You would love it. Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson for the Ring of Honor World Championship match. I barely paid attention. Anything you want to say about it?
Why do we
have? And then Daniel Garcia turns on Daniel Bryan like it's a big thing, and AEW puts out this big tweet. We did not see that happening. Blah.
Bullshit! I saw that happening 10 miles away. I saw that happening 4 weeks ago. Where the fuck have you all been? No, come on. They've got so much talent. Okay, that they could use, but they're not. And it just kills me every week. And I know these guys have to smile and put a smile on their face and be, I'm totally happy. I love it here. Come on. No, you don't. You don't.
Yeah.
Be real. I wouldn't want to.
Tony Storm and Sheeta against Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. If I remember correctly, Sheeta got the pin over Britt. Did she not?
Yeah, she did.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, holy Sheeta is what I said.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
The match wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be honest.
No.
I just didn't expect much out of Britt. I knew she was going to be heavy-handed in that one, but the rest of the three are pretty solid, and it was pretty good. So,
yeah,
was what it was.
I really wish that they didn't, pigeonhole damn Jamie Hayter, because she's so good, and she has to dial it totally down because unfortunately her little leader is shitty. But
Yeah. And then the main event was Pac versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship match. Orange Cassidy wins. He now holds gold. He acted like he didn't give a shit, so why should I? Barely paid attention. Thought the orange confetti was dumb and childish. Twitter Fox does say, I can only hope Pac now gets thrown in the title picture. Why has Pac not fought better talent in AEW? Pac versus Bryan would be a banger. I agree with that. And he said Sheeta versus Storm next week. The fan want Jamie, but T doesn't listen to the fans, and that's also true. Amanda, what do you think about the main event? Are you super happy for Orange Cassidy?
No.
All right.
And I say no. And I know this sounds going to sound mean because I have a friend who totally loves Orange Cassidy. If they were going to do this kind of thing, this should really have happened a long time ago.
Yeah. Him beating Pac was stupid.
That's stupid. Okay, if anybody, I mean, it was kind of stale. It should have come off of an asshole type of figure, like a Guevara. Yeah. Okay, or whatever, NBT champion or TBS champion or whatever.
I will say Cassidy's in the best shape of his life. He's in great shape right now.
Yeah, he is. So I guess he does kind of care. So, but I mean, I don't know. I knew it was going to happen. I just feel bad for Pac because it's like, dude, I know you have wait, do you still have the trios or did that go away? I don't know.
No, we're doing it.
Yeah,
Fox has a good idea. He goes, what if Pac dropped the title just to go back to Triple H now that he's running the show? Could happen. That's true.
Could happen.
That'd be sweet.
Happen. That would be very
I would cheer because I'm a mark.
I would cheer because it's like, God, it's like this is another form of slavery over here. Sorry to bring that up in that way, but anyone who can go back and really do their full potential, I'm for. I am for it.
Yeah, I agree.
And Orange, I just hope he doesn't have the title for very long. There are other people I think who are very deserving of belts that are there that I'd rather see. Like, when are you going to give fucking Powerhouse Hobbs that push you keep dangling in front of everybody's face? Because if he beats he wouldn't beat Wardlow. They wouldn't. Why would, Brian Cage just got his ass handed to him. He laid down for him. I don't think that, that's the way to go with Hobbs. If you want it, it's got to go this way. Orange Cassidy is not one to take it off of for him. It needs to be something pretty strong.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him in Miro, but yeah. Brody King, I don't, yeah. But whoever enters into a program with Orange Cassidy for that belt, this is going to be lame.
Yeah. Yeah, and then on the show they did have Sean Spears. They had Bollywood Boys is going to be on their.
Oh yeah, your favorite wrestler, Sean Spears. When they announced him, I was like, oh god, they're pandering to Team Canada here, and Marsh is probably fast forwarding really quick as he can.
And he's back to the perfect 10 because that worked out so goddamn well, and it's fucking stupid. Here's the thing too: is all that felt like to me was pandering because we know. Spears doesn't have a contract with them. We know the Bollywood Boys don't. What we know is that they got a bunch of cheap local pops, and now these guys are back to being unemployed and doing whatever it is that they do. And the Perfect 10 is a perfect shit. Like, it felt like we were pandering to Canada so heavily that the rest of the show actually suffered. That it was like, why? Why are we doing this? Like, I get that there's a story between Sean and FTR, and they were in the Pinnacle, and what are the like? Fuck that. He sucks. He's bad. He lost all the time. Even in kayfabe, he lost all the fucking time. Why would you want him back? You know what I mean? Yeah. If you're FTR and you want a team member to help you, why are you going to pick the one dude in your crew that took every single loss? Like, it was stupid. In kayfabe. Outside of kayfabe, you go, oh, it's the local pop. So it just felt like, are we really that excited that Shawn Spears is back? Are we really that excited that Baldy Boys made their AEW debut? I'm sick and tired of seeing all these fucking AEW debuts and no one getting a contract. I'm tired of TK taking advantage of the indie scene and not paying them, not giving them full-on contracts, and giving them their one fucking open mic spot so they can say on their resume now that what as featured on AEW to try and bump up their indie rate a little bit. Give them a fucking contract, dude. Stop using free talent and start paying people and using the talent you have that you're not using. Yeah. Like, that's what pisses me off about it. Whatever. Piece of shit. Triple H loved Pac. Swinner Fox says in his NXT run was fire. That's true. Yo, Pac and Sami Zayn? Let's revisit that. Run that back. That match was fucking banging. Sami Zayn was tag team with Neville against the Dudley Boys in their very last match in WWE. You could tag up Neville and Sami Zayn. Bring him part of the bloodline. He's got the ears for it. I don't know what that means.
Poor Pac in his ears. Come on.
Spinner Fox says Bandito was an example of what you just said. Spinner Fox.
Yep.
Bandito is one of many examples of what I just said.
And I can't believe Bandito, like, I don't know who the hell leaked it. Like, oh yeah, they signed Bandito. He was the only, let's be real, he was one of the only ones from ROH that they should have kept.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you said it from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. I said episode 1. You know, because Bandito is fucking, if you've ever gotten to see Bandito in person, it is fucking amazing. You're just like, holy God. Like, I mean, I've seen Bandito and I think Flamita versus the Lucha Brothers. And holy shit, because that made those two guys, that made, you know, Phoenix and fucking Penta step it up 10 times. And that was probably one of the most amazing lucha matches I've ever seen. Yeah. And I'm not a lucha libre fan. I'm really not. But I could say, holy fuck, that was amazing. You know?
And then now look at Bandito. He's just another fucking lucha jobber that came through to lose to Jericho one time in a mediocre match that no one remembers. Yeah. Like, fuck, dude. Like, the guy's better than that. He deserves better than that.
Beyond better than that, you know? And he's actually a very good-looking man. I've seen him without the mask. Young guy. A lot of potential. Lot of potential. And, you know, it just sucks because it's like, that is flippy shit right there. Like, that kind of, like, Ricochet level where it's like it's flawless. You see nothing wrong with it. I've never ever seen Bandito, and I've seen Bandito quite a bit. I've never seen him botch anything.
Spinner Fox says, "Bet I hate to say it, but Orange gets hurt again. It would be wild if Trent turns on the best friends and get the title. I don't see that happening."
I love Trent Beretta, and let me tell you, fucking heavyweight Trent, I am all aboard on that train. I love him.
He says, get Trent Gold already. You want change, give Trent Gold. That is different. Yeah, but I don't see how you get there.
I can
Void
see
says, Nick Gage said in an interview that Kevin Owens is the one guy he'd like to get in the ring with. That could be crazy.
Oh, that would be fucking dope as fuck. Oh, my God. Oh, yes, congratulations.
Kevin would lean into it.
Yeah. Congratulations to Nick fucking Gage.
Oh, that's true. Nick Gage beat the shit out of Moxley.
Yep.
Yeah, he fucked up Moxley good.
He sure did. And my thing was this. If you want blood, that's the way you do it, Mox. Just don't cut yourself to cut yourself, bro.
Yes.
Do it good when you've got this kind of caliber.
Yes. And let me see. There was...
And again, another person
that what's his ass, Brett Lauderdale put out, or somebody around Brett Lauderdale. It had to do with Gage. GCW's sources, AEW didn't want Moxley to do the match, have the Aston not work dates. Yeah, we talked about that. We broke that a while ago. People were trying to say, like, AEW doesn't want people working GCW. I was like, fuck, we talked about that during Thunder Rosa's last match there, that was going to be happening. Keep your eye out. Pay attention. That they're not going to be allowed to go anymore, and they weren't. So you're welcome. You heard it here first, dipshits. Losers.
And sometimes if you want to sit there and think, where do they think this stuff up? They probably listen to us.
They definitely listen to us because we are awesome. But there was another one where more or less in the ring, Nick Gage had said something along the lines of how he respected Moxley because Moxley didn't listen to that big company who told him not to come down there and do that stuff. And he said, no, I'm going to finish my run. Because remember, we talked about that Thunder Rosa, all the other AEW talent were told they weren't allowed to go to GCW. Moxley said he was going to finish his run as he promised, and basically cucked Tony to say, you're going to watch me do whatever I want with whoever I want to do it with, and you're going to like it, buddy. Yeah. And so Tony said, that sounds great. I'll keep doing it.
Yeah. And what was great was, I remember because I watched it, and when after he won the belt and he did that shout out, I was like...
Oh, you saw the whole match?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course I did. I saw the whole thing. Fucking Janela's a beast. Stop that damn crane. But anyways. But Nick Gage, let me tell you, and I said it before in episode 1, that man's a fucking real trooper. You know? Yeah. A lot of the shit. Man, dude. He's the fucking man. I would never, ever... Like, if he says something, you know that's some fucking true gospel right there, you know? Yeah. And it comes from the heart, and it's no bullshit. And that's why... I got a lot
of respect for Nick Gage and Moxley after all this, too.
And actually, that whole thing actually did give me a lot of respect for Mox, because I'm like, one of these ones, like, great, he leaves WWE, and he gets everything on a silver platter. But this one, he was like, no, I'm shutting it down. And this is how we're going to do it. And also, too, it was great because... that match was actually a pretty good match. You know,
and we called it too because the day before, AEW put out an announcement saying that they had extended Moxley's contract by 5 years, and he's going to be taking on this role and that role. He's going to be a mentor and a teacher and all this shit. And it said, and he will be exclusive to AEW and only their international partnerships. So they said the day before, they got ahead of it, because I saw people shit on it. It's like, oh, the AEW champion just fucking lost to GCW. They told you beforehand because they were afraid of that narrative. They said he's no longer allowed to wrestle in the United States outside of AEW. They just put a lock on his whole contract, which was the whole point of going to AEW, right? Was all that freedom and stuff. So it's starting to look a lot like other places. But they said that so that way you would know, oh, he's going to lose and this is why. And that way all their fans, who are the super smart fans, who always say, oh, you give everything a pass every time, are like, well, he's doing the right thing by Tony. No, he was doing the thing that they finally agreed to the way that he wanted to do it. Like, But, AEW tried to get ahead of it. They basically told you the finish before the match, which I thought was shitty of them. And that was the thing after.
But also, here's the other thing, too. Anybody who really kind of knows that if you're a fan of the genre of deathmatch or just a fan of GCW, we all know that Nick Gage ain't going out like that.
Well,
if someone retires him,
we talked about it.
Yeah, we did, and I swear, if someone retires him out, it's gonna be someone that he's passing the torch to, and that was not gonna be John.
But Moxley was a believable torch. Because Moxley is a mainstream guy doing the same kind of things as Nick. And you could also argue that Moxley's character as Mox now is a cosplay of Nick Gage. You could argue he's very influenced by Nick Gage. And I think that that's not a bad argument to make. And I don't think it makes Moxley any less of anything. No. But I could see a Nick being like, hey, Moxley's taking the torch from here. Which made it believable, but then AEW comes out with a fucking statement being like, he's going to lose and this is why. And you're like, fuck off, dude. Just fucking put out the statement after the fact and then we could retroactively go, oh, what a surprise that was.
That's your insecurity, Tony Khan. That's your insecurity. Yep. And it's like, bro, it don't work like that. Okay?
It does not work like that.
It does not work like that. And I think with Mox, you know, I think that it's very interesting that
It's funny Splinter Fox blows up my chat like this, and when I ask him if he wants a fucking link just to come on and talk, he never takes it.
Yeah, why don't you take a link?
Come on, Splinter.
Yeah, come on, dude. Own up. Show your face,
Oh,
dude.
do it, dude. Don't be a keyboard warrior.
Yeah, what are you, Sammy Guevara? Just a keyboard warrior? Splinter Fox says, oh, yeah, they shit on Dragon Lee big time. Yeah, the guy broke Tim Bomb's neck, but still. Yeah, because remember I mentioned that before, how he got fucking concussed, and in his concussion, he was dead weight as Kenny Omega makes sure he gets his finish in. They rip his mask off, basically piss in his mouth, and then that was it. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Splinter Fox is one of the dudes in the chat saying they're clearly building a storyline here. They're going to pay off. And I said, I don't think so. Keep watching. And we haven't seen or heard from him since. So looks like I was right. Splinter Fox was wrong. It's probably he doesn't want to get on camera because he knows I'm in the coma. I'm going to be wrong all the time, and I'm always right. But so what are you going to do?
Can we go there with Dragon Lee?
Go ahead.
Okay. Remember, this was the man that almost killed Hiromu Takahashi right in front of my ass.
That's true.
He's injured quite a few people. He is not a safe wrestler. So, just saying.
Blue Boy says it was the Rewind Recap podcast that Nick said that. Okay, shout out to Rewind Recap. Oh, they had Eric Rowan recently, right?
Yep, they're friends of the show.
Friends of the show, follows the show. Rewind Recap has been getting some really good interviews lately. They got Eric Rowan, who said some really cool shit. I think that's where he also mentioned how he didn't ever entertain an idea of an AEW contract because he wanted to focus on what he wanted to do, kind of a deal. He didn't want anything to do with the Dark Order because he said that was Brody's thing. I don't want to tarnish whatever it is Brody built, and I'm not trying to take over what Brody built. I want his legacy to live on, so I want to leave it as it stands. Because people were asking why he didn't take over after the fact, and he's like, because that was his thing. Let it be his thing. Let it live on as his legacy. I don't need to take over. So they had a great interview with Eric Rowan, Rewind Recap. Apparently a great interview with Nick Gage. Those guys are killing it. Keep an eye out for them. If they're on Twitch, don't follow them on Twitch because that's kind of our platform. But if they have other platforms, go ahead, follow those ones. YouTube.
You're fucking mean as fuck. What the hell?
What? I'm just saying. Stay off my turf. If they're trying to get in the podcast turf wars, man, I've been doing episode 1 for 3 goddamn years. Oh,
they have way more followers.
Yeah, they're doing way better than us. They don't need to worry about my turf.
Why are
really.
you bullying people that have more followers, dude?
No.
What are these stupid schmucks all about?
It would be like if I had a sandcastle in a playground and they had the whole playground. I said, yeah, but you can't have my sandcastle. They'd be like, yeah, that's fine, dude.
They're like, we don't
It's your
care.
sandcastle. Like,
and then you know what I would do? Just to be a bitch, is I'd go knock the sandcastle down. It's like, because they didn't have the balls to do it. If you want to fight, then fucking go.
Are they man enough to pull up? No.
Duh.
I want to see their balls. Are they big balls? I want to look at them. I want to weigh them. What's going on with their balls here?
Wow.
What? That's what I'm saying. That's what wrestling sounds like lately.
Really
I did not go there with
I don't
that.
think it could be taken out of context. I think ball talk is always fair talk. It's
no,
wrestling.
it's not.
What do you mean, no, it's not?
No.
You guys have been watching The Miz.
The Miz has been talking about balls. Drew McIntyre's been talking about balls. Hangman Page said, I'm a man. So I'm saying, rewind up on these balls. No, it's fine. Just saying, shout out Rewind Recap podcast. They're doing good stuff.
Not ask for any of that.
They didn't ask for this smoke, as they've said in the past.
It's not smoke. It's a big fart dust.
Yeah, it's not smoke. It's butt dust. Yeah.
Dude,
we're high class here.
You need to come on the Jericho Cruise and dress as the Peacemaker.
I could be the Peacemaker.
That'd be fucking hilarious.
Now, the best thing about the Peacemaker costume is all you need is the helmet and tidy whities.
Yeah.
You're done. That's a whole costume right there. Split Fox does say, so does he get an AEW title shot? That's funny about Nick Cage. And he does say, Brett Lauderdale in bed with WWE, been talking a lot with Steph. They've always been really good friends, which is weird. But yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
You know, I think...
Wouldn't that be cool, though? If they sent NXT talent down to GCW?
Yeah, but you know, you have to think about this. There's a reason why Joey Janela is in the best fucking shape of his life right now.
Is he trying to get picked up? He trying to be seen?
Let's
go drink him before he gets picked up.
No, he doesn't fucking care. He'll drink right now. It doesn't matter.
I'm saying, but he can't drink with me later once he's signed by the big time. I got to
He
get
can
him
do
now.
whatever the fuck he wants. He
That's
doesn't
probably
care.
true. He's Joey fucking Janela.
He's Joey Janela. God damn. Shit.
Fox
Like-
says GCW with WWE like WWE was being in ECW. Yep, that's what I'm wondering.
Oh, you know who I'd like to get have hit by a light tube?
Yeah,
Just because I just think he just needs to be hit by a light tube.
Dexter
It's
Lumis.
Andre Chase.
Oh, Andre Chase for sure. Light tube him.
For sure.
Stern Fox says T is burning bridges left and right. Yep. He goes, wait, but what about Nick Wayne? Didn't he have an AEW contract? He wrestled left and right over GCW. His contract was that when he's 18, he will be an AEW exclusive talent.
And he ain't 18 yet.
He ain't 18 yet.
The only thing is he can't wrestle in certain states, obviously.
He cannot wrestle in certain states, and he cannot be banged by adults. So
that sounded really horrible.
Be wary. That's all I'm saying. He's a minor.
Yeah.
Stay out of prison, folks. Spinner Fox says, oh, you were talking to me. Oh, that's funny. He goes, I thought you were talking to Graham. I was talking to anybody in the chat, dude. Talking about anyone in the chat. If I put in the chat, somebody want to come up, here's the link, I just open. He goes, next time, I don't have a mic on my PC ready. I've been moving the room around. All right, well, that's what
you don't need a mic. I don't have a mic, as evident of episode 1 last week.
That's a good point. Amanda didn't even have audio, let alone like a good mic. She had no audio.
Now he's back now because of how good Butch has been lately. So
Yeah, because Butch has been kicking the shit out of people.
Yeah,
you know what JustinTime does half the time? He turns on his fucking iPad and logs in like he's got a fucking mic. That dude just got an iPad. Last time, you signed in with your phone. It's a Zoom call, Spinner Fox. This guy trying to be, don't have my fucking...
What a diva. Although, I will admit, I was waiting for you, because you said, oh, you had shitty mics, that I was waiting for one.
Spinner Fox says, wait, the ad ended, you talking shit. It's probably for the best. First off, I'm glad that they still run ads on our channel.
I know.
Because that gives me a few pennies here and there, and all I need is $1 to get 6
baby.
Sonic drinks.
Monetization, baby.
Yeah, monetizing, baby.
Hey. Yeah, so no excuse, because I had no audio last week.
That's true.
I had visual.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine that? He comes on without audio and just like sign languages at us.
I should have wrote notes, had cards like Guevara's gimmick, like, hold on, I'm only pulling these because they were by my desk because I was like,
oh, that'd be funny with the cards like Bob Dylan.
Look, cock. Scissor.
What? How many of those do you have?
I'm on his Patreon, but I don't get him because he sends them every month. It's a different, kind of, word. He asked me if there was one. I said, you need to put douche canoe because I think that's a great one. And he kind of snickered. But what I really like is
Can he do one about how Wrestling on the Rock sucks or something for us? And then you can send it to me.
That's a personal one. I'll ask him if he'll do that just personally. But these are great because this was one of his shirts, the wrestling one with the different types of wrestlers.
That's pretty good.
This is classic Colt Cabana with the headband.
That's good stuff. All right, we don't need to see your entire Colt Cabana collection. All right.
Oh no, but the best.
Do you want me to show you all my Bailey signed cards? Because we'll be here all night. You're showing all your Colts. I'm showing all my Baileys.
No, if Colt Cabana, the one merch I will show one day is I will show my most prized possession of my Colt Cabana merch.
That's true.
And that's
you just come out wearing it.
Yeah, but it smells like professional wrestling. But this was the best sticker he made.
Oh, that's cool.
Him as the Brooklyn Brawler. That was like pretty awesome.
That's really cool. The Brooklyn Faller. Storm Fox says, I'm pissed you didn't win the belt. What the fuck? Triple H do the right thing. Yeah, dude, we talked about it with Bishop on Wednesday last week because he was at that event. I had a lot of negative feelings about that match, although I love Bianca Belair. I really do. And I've met her, and she's nicer in person than you would imagine. Like, you would think she'd be pretty nice. She was, like, way too nice.
Way too nice where it's suspect?
Not even suspect, where you just go, like, I don't know why you're being this nice. Like, I didn't do anything to deserve you being this nice and just chatting with me this long. Like, you can go... Like, your husband's over there. You could, like, talk to... You could do whatever. And, he was obviously goofing off with people, too. It wasn't like... There was no flirting. I'm not trying to say that. She was just so nice and engaged in every conversation she had that at a certain point, you're just kind of like... Aren't you busier than this? Like... But yeah. Let's see. Let's talk a little NXT. I'm gonna be honest. There was very few highlights for me. It was all good. I will say that. None of it was bad. Just most of it I didn't care about. And it was something I mentioned earlier today as I was recording the next episode of Pro Wrestling Spotlight. John Arezzi and Bob Smith were talking about differences between wrestling then and now. And to them, they felt like nothing makes them care to tune in. And then John had mentioned there were certain stars that he likes to see what they do. And when I chimed in, it was that you and I have been discussing it more and more week after week, that when it comes to NXT and AEW, most of what the shows have become is who do you like? And the story is superfluous. I watch Sami Zayn, but realistically, whoever Sami Zayn's in the ring with or on the other side of the ring with a mic doesn't matter. It's irrelevant to how am I going to enjoy this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. With, like we were saying before, like last week, remember I asked you, what is it that you like about which show? We were naming people, not stories. We said, I even said, I really like what Moxley's doing. He's doing stuff with Hangman, which is cool. But if it wasn't Hangman, I don't think I would care. If it was somebody else, I wouldn't care. Because I like what Moxley's doing. Right now, characters and performers are paramount and story are secondary. And there's very few stories that have me captivated. NXT is no difference. Braun Breaker, very cool. Do I give a shit he had a match with Javier Bernal? Not even a little bit.
Nope.
Do I care that he speared Ilya Dragunov at the end? Kind of. Because that match will be fucking cool. But is there a story there I'm invested in? No. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's how I feel or felt with NXT about Nathan Frazier and why am I blanking on his name? I almost called him Kid A. It's not.
What was it?
What's his face? The luchador used to be Lucky Kid. Kid A or whatever.
Axiom?
Axiom, yes, Axiom or whatever.
Yeah, Axiom.
Give a shit about this last one.
No.
I was like, Nathan Frazier's already going to win. Why? Because they've been pushing a lot of Nathan Frazier, and Axiom feels like an accident waiting to happen because of his really dark masks, and I felt like a Sin Cara kind of vibe, and that would have been really bad. So I had no interest in that because I knew, like, okay, Nathan Frazier.
And like it or not, Nathan Frazier is the only guy in this match with a face. Even Rey Mysterio's mask shows his eyes and mouth, and the reason is because he can emote. Axiom cannot emote.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And that's a problem because he's so good.
Even Sin Cara couldn't really emote.
No, Sin Cara could not emote. You know who emotes better than these guys? Baseball mascots.
You're right. Even Gritty.
And do you know why Gritty can emote better than Axiom?
Or no, he was on with Miz.
Because the mask has fucking eyeballs.
And the eyeballs.
There's no eyes on these masks for Sin Cara or for Axiom, and that is a detriment. Just saying you don't need a face to emote is not true, because at that point, you're fucking shrugging. Ugh! I don't know!
Yeah.
But when you watch a mascot in baseball, and they hang their head, because this is Muppetology. If you hang a puppet's head down, it looks sad because now it's looking at the floor because you can see its eyes. If you adjust the mouth or adjust the way its head is moved, the eyes are doing the work for you because you add emotion to eyes as a human being. So when you remove eyes entirely with a black, flat mask, you've given me nothing. So Nathan Frazier had to win because he's the only one I can connect to because Axiom has no fucking head.
But, okay, if you've got a baseball mascot, and this is probably one of my favorite ones ever. Okay.
Which one? San Diego Chicken?
No. The fucking Crazy Crab, because he actually hated the Giants. That was their mascot. He would come out during the game, and would like beat the shit out of some of them with his little claw hands and whatever. And he had his eyes were kind of just like, I remember, and he was great because why? That's the idea of someone who, he really doesn't have a face. He's got these weird eyes that are just kind of dangling, but his whole body dangles, and so that's what makes it kind of cool because he's emoting. Because let's go there. If Ricky Starks didn't make a lot of the facial expressions that he does, he'd be rather fucking boring.
Yep. But that's just it about most wrestlers. The wrestling,
John Gresham.
Old timers talk about it. You hear like X-Pac talk about it on his old podcast. You can hear, Cornette talks about it, but a lot of the old time wrestlers talk about that wrestling happens between the moves. And what they mean isn't that they're laying on the mat, quote, selling. It means that they're laying between the moves, emoting. They're showing a struggle. They're making you think someone's down and out. A bad guy's going to look like he's mad and thinking about ways to be conniving. A good guy's going to look like he's in pain and not sure how he's going to get through this. The moves are what get you to those moments of agonizing. They're not the spot. The spot in wrestling is between moves, because that's when you can connect to a fan. That guy's hurt, and I don't want him hurt. That's my favorite guy, and he looks like he's given up. You know what I mean? That's when you connect.
Yeah.
With no face, like, I can't connect.
Yeah. You can have a cute butt, but if you don't have, you can't. If there's nothing there, you know.
Yeah, connecting via butt is way different.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. Apollo Crews, how do you feel about how he's doing in NXT?
I'm very disappointed in Apollo Crews. Because maybe I was thinking that, you know what, it's going to be a reboot, kind of like Mandy was, or is. Nothing. And I have not been invested in him at all. And so now the Halloween Havoc thing, and they were like flashing Chucky, and I'm like, boring. I'm like, this is dumb.
It's too cinematic.
Not really that it's too cinematic. It's what's the point? I didn't find that. It's like, this is boring.
So much of what Apollo Crews is doing is reliant on camera cuts, on special effects. Like, it relies too much on cinema that I actually feel like I'm kind of disappointed. I was expecting a lot more. And I'm like, I don't think this carries over well.
You know what was more exciting to me than that Apollo Crews segment?
Veer Mahan?
No. Seeing the horrible acting of one Roderick Strong in the wheelchair. And I'm just like, this is bad. But you know what? It was very rough, but it was better than Apollo Crews.
That was rough.
That was
Indy Hartwell versus Valentina Feroz. Splinter Fox says people were talking this about Indy Hartwell finisher on Twitter. Yeah, the superplex that won the match. People are dumb and have never took a suplex. You could get your wind knocked out of you from that. People are dumb. Oh my God, my head hurts from Twitter. Toxic dumb people. Very interesting way to word that when you're... Either way. Yeah, it's a massive move, and selling these big moves make a big difference. Like, the pile driver has always been seen as such a big, massive, dangerous move because Memphis made you think it was. They literally banned the move. So if you saw it, you went, oh no. That the entire Andy Kaufman storyline with Jerry Lawler was based around the idea that the pile driver was an illegal move and paralyzed him. A lot of Bill Dundee and Jerry Lawler was based around the idea of, you can't use the pile driver, you can't put me out. It was seen as such a dangerous thing to do. Like, a suplex off the top rope, a superplex, is incredibly painful because of what you're hitting and the way you have to hit it with your entire fucking body. So I had no problem with her finish being a superplex. I thought it was cool. I just am not caring too much about Indy Hartwell right now. Spinner Fox says Indy's the only person I care about in NXT. She should win. She should be the one to beat Mandy for the title. I would like us to get to a point where I agree with you, because I like Indy so much. I think Mandy's so much on a higher level right now, and I want to see Indy get herself there. But I just don't... I want to agree with you. I can't in this moment. But I would love to drink Old Crow in 6 months when she does it. You know what I mean? I was excited to see Veer Mahan. That was my favorite part of the whole match, was Veer Mahan showed up.
That was really... Yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Pretty Deadly stuff I don't give a shit about.
I mean, that was just awful. Fast forward.
I listened to it I had it with mute on. The triple threat with the tag teams I did not give a shit about. There were some cool moves, but I didn't give a shit about it. Alba Fire versus JC Jane. I'll be honest, I like both of these talents a lot. I just wish I cared more. I think Alba's going to be the one to take the title off Mandy.
I think so too. The way they've been plotting this.
Yes.
And now, with what happened and that interesting twist,
with Sonya Deville showing up, that was very
Deville
cool.
showing. I thought that was excellent.
And very cool because you know why Mandy's not there.
No.
Her brother passed away, so she's taking time away.
That's right.
Her brother passed away. They just buried him a couple days, like a day ago, day before the taping or something like that. Like, so she needs time. Like,
yeah.
He was not old. He was not an old man by any means. He was young. He was healthy. I don't know what happened, but it's tragic and awful. And honestly, poetic that Sonya Deville would be the one to kind of step up in that place and move this storyline along. Like, I mean, it kind of gave me emotions. You know, seeing Sonya show up, my first thought wasn't like, oh, they're connected. My first thought was like, oh my God, Sonya's doing this for Mandy because of what she's going through.
Yeah.
And this is amazing. This is amazing.
It just worked out very, very well. And I was just like, this is great. Like, you know, but I didn't know that about Mandy. But my thing was, it was just how it kind of just evolved. That was what made it, for me, it like, oh, that's pretty fucking badass.
Here's what I would like. Alba to take the title off Mandy. All of Toxic Attraction, including Sonya, going to the main roster. And I would like, in maybe 7 or 8 months, Indy take the title off Alba. Build Indy to the point where it gets us there. And then have Alba go to the main roster, because she has no business being in NXT anyways. But if she can help get Indy to a point where you can take the title off her, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I agree with that. It's a good statement.
Also, Mandy wasn't tough enough with Sarah, who passed away.
So was Sonya. They were in there together. Yeah, Sarah Lee passed away, and the following day, Mandy's, or the same day, Sarah Lee passed away. Also, and tears in our beers for Sarah Lee. But also the same day, Mandy's brother passed away. And so I think Mandy had like one little Instagram thing that just said like, today sucks. And you just go, yeah, it does. And there's nothing you can say.
Yeah.
But
Cameron Grimes, man. Let's backtrack a little.
Go ahead. Cameron Grimes and the Dyad, Gacy, all that stuff.
That was really great. I'd love to see Cameron Grimes in a good mood and not kind of letting that weird, mysterious funk, you know?
Right.
So now, since he has friends on the main roster, who could it be?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Only one name came to mind to me.
That's what came to mind to me. All of a sudden, he's like, I know people. I'm all,
Yep. Grimes says he has no friends in NXT, but that doesn't mean he has no friends in WWE. There are friends in WWE. And he walks away, and I went, yeah. The only person I think that Grimes could trust, if you go by storyline, have to be LA Knight. LA Knight. The only one that would make sense sort of storyline-wise, but I don't think I would buy into it nearly as well. Dexter. They had a feud.
No.
But I don't think I would buy into it at all.
I don't want Dexter anywhere near NXT.
I don't want Dexter anywhere near television, but he's there.
But yeah, but no, because if they bring him down to NXT, we're gonna get that fucking indie bullshit again, and I don't index bullshit, and I don't want that. Okay,
I don't want anything to do with Dexter. But the only people I could think of on the main roster that had interactions with Cameron Grimes and any kind of sustainable thing, Eli Drake and Dexter were the only two feuds I could come to mind.
Yeah, but because he's been going through that transition of getting rid of the Maximum Male Models bullshit.
He's officially LA Knight. He said it on SmackDown this last one. Stop calling me Max. I'm LA Knight.
Yeah. So guess what? That's a homecoming of fucking LA Knight right there. And that, my friends, let me tell you something. I'm all aboard that. Please. If it's not, I'm going to be so sad. I'm going to be, you fucking wasted an opportunity.
I'm looking at all his matches on NXT with Cameron Grimes.
They were great. That was a great program.
I'm saying it's the only program. He had one match with Pete Dunne. One.
Yeah, I don't think Butch is going to come down for fucking Cameron Grimes.
And that's what I mean. There's no reason he would.
No,
Solo Sikoa, he had one match with Solo Sikoa. 2.
No. But gonna happen. LA Knight's gonna come in that red. What was he driving? That red Corvette or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Well, like here, hold these. Yeah.
He had a match with Austin Theory, but it was a massive match.
We don't want Austin Theory. I don't want that bullshit.
No.
Come on now.
I mean, when you look at it, you got Kyle O'Reilly. You have a lot of AEW talent.
Yeah.
LA Knight's the only one that makes sense.
It has to. It has to. And I swear to God, I'm gonna.
Because they both have the brotherhood of the $1 Million Championship.
Mm-hmm.
$1 Million megastar. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What?
Yep, shoes of a champion. Come on now.
Shoes of a champion. Yeah.
Yeah.
See this jacket? Shoes of a champion. Yeah.
Talk to me.
Talk to me.
Me. Let me tell you something.
Spinner Fox says, the only time I'm rooting for The Miz, keep him away from Index. That is what derailed her path. No, that's fucking the least of your issues. Dude, come on.
Yeah, no. Maybe we don't want him to have a mic.
No, we don't need to have a mic.
Unless you can mute quite a bit.
But I agree with you. Cameron Grimes teaming up with LA Knight one time. Let's do it.
God, that my heart.
Let's do it.
That better main event. It probably won't. But you know what? You got to give me some goddamn TV time for that shit. Yeah.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wesley and Stax, anything there?
No. I love Wesley, it's like almost like what is there for him?
Yeah, that's where I'm stuck with him.
Hard. It's very, very hard for me. So that's why I'm kind of like, but it was nice that there's still that beef with Mello and Trick. That I do like, because I want him to get his day in the sun as far as they're concerned.
That's true. And there's a ladder match coming up soon where he can get potentially the title. I would like to see Wes win that ladder match.
I do too.
Let's see. Diamond Mine we talked about. That was funny. Thea Hall, Kiana James. That was fine. Too much Robert Stone.
Okay. That, I was like, God damn it. Like, okay, when we saw Kiana James, I'm like, shh, I know what's going to come. So I started losing interest right away.
Yes.
Because I knew. And then it had to.
And the problem is Kiana James and Thea Hall or Thea Hale are both such good young talent.
Yeah.
They could do so much, and I feel like putting them around Robert Stone drags them down and inhibits their ability to grow. And those two are already like they're starting out 3 goals post behind. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. Like, why do you keep putting them in Chase University and around Robert Stone? Like, let the women tell their stories. They do it better than them.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm sitting there again because we had this conversation. It's like, who the fuck? Whose palm is he greasing?
Yeah, I cannot figure out how Robert Stone has a job there.
I don't get it.
I'm not even saying he's not particularly skilled in general. I've just never seen anything of use for him on NXT.
No.
You know what I mean?
And you know what would be funny is if he finally WWE gets rid of him, you know where he's gonna go.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna be all, you know what, Tony Khan, you are dumb. You really don't watch this shit. You only got him because of where he just was at, because boring as fuck. Yeah. And that hair, oh my God, his hair. I just was like, can we not look at his back because his hair was bothering me, that weird little flip thing? And I'm like,
it was awful.
It's just, it was just bad. It was just bad.
I like the Cora Jade stuff, the Roxanne stuff, them getting someone from the main roster to fight each other. I think that's going to be exciting and it's going to be good. And I'm excited to see what matches come out of that. Because, I mean, Cora's amazing. Roxanne's amazing. Whoever they pull from the main roster talent, they're not going to pull, like, I mean, I don't want to, like, name names and be mean or anything, but they're not going to pull some, like, bottom-level talent. They're going to pull talent that makes each other feel like they're a threat, you know? Like, I'm excited for the matches that come out of these.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, also, not only that, too, but with, like, Cora's little, her freaking out of, like, oh, my God, like, who's Roxanne No over there? Oh, my God, whose number does she have? I mean, that was just the best.
Yeah.
And it just was like, God, her character development is just so, so good.
She's been doing
And
awesome.
speaking of character development, is Tiffany Stratton injured or something?
I don't think she's injured,
Because
but
we haven't seen her in a month, at least.
we have not. But she has been posting on Instagram. And I do believe she's recently gone under a cosmetic surgery. And I think it's got her with some time out. Tiffany Stratton.
Oh.
So I think that's got her out for a bit.
I hope it's not what I hope it's not what I think it is.
It's probably exactly what you think it is.
Didn't need that.
I didn't think so, but if it makes her more confident and happy, then fine. But
no.
It appears that cosmetic surgery was done and she's got time to heal, so that's why she's been off TV. Splinter Fox says Natty for sure as far as that goes. I wouldn't be against seeing a Natty against a Roxanne. If Natty has a respect for Cora because of their match, Natty and Roxanne could be cool. I could see who would they have on the Raw talent pool that you could fish over there? I mean, obviously you could do anybody in Damage Control and it would make sense and be cool, but I don't know. I think whoever it is, I'm going to be happy with. The main event: Ilya Dragunov versus Grayson Waller on NXT. Why does it say that on NXT? It's such a weird way to review this on the site. Every match says on NXT, and you're like, of course, it's NXT results. What the fuck?
Right. Yeah.
This match though was fucking good. Ilya and Waller, amazing together. And then Braun Breaker just being a fucking maniac at the end of it. No problems there.
Nope.
I was really excited by it. What did you think of it?
Oh my God. It was like, I knew that just the thought of, okay, when they announced it, I was like, holy God damn, this is going to be great. Because Waller every week has been growing on me like a bad rash.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's itchy. You know, and you're like, oh, I gotta keep scratching it because it feels good to scratch. And then it goes away, and you're like, but I like scratching my itch. Yeah. That's crazy.
He's real easy to boo.
Yeah. And I already really love Dragunov before. So it just kind of, his like craziness and everything makes it really fun. And then when you add Braun Breaker in there, you're like, oh God, that's another level of crazy. And it just works. See, that's where I'm kind of like the match with JD. I'm like, he just makes that whole match just brings it down like two notches.
Yeah. So apart from that, I thought it was great. I thought that Braun Breaker coming out looking like a beast was pretty cool. He was looking jacked as ever.
Oh, yeah.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, the biggest new thing for the show was Booker T on commentary. I know we talked about it a little bit before. You had an issue with it. I didn't. But he seems really polarizing for people. A lot of people were really upset with Booker T as a commentator. And I'm not even trying to be disrespectful when I say that he's just such a non-factor for me on commentating. Like, when people talk about commentators, I don't go greatest of all time, but he never annoys me or bothers me. I just always go, to me, every time I hear him on commentary, I'm like, oh, it's Booker on commentary. That's cool. Like, I have no issues with him on commentary, but yeah, I don't think he stands out either. He's just totally fine and quite a character. Like, I don't think much of it.
You know, I'm not a fan. And I think for me, it's more of, he kind of like, you and I were talking about this, but he's kind of in his own weird way. Like, I'll call it what I see it. He's like a ghetto Tony Schiavone. He kind of sometimes says the same shit, and you're just like, okay. And he provides a little bit of color, but it's not like, something that I'm like, okay, I should care. Why aren't you making me care? Why aren't you evoking an emotion out of me? And I'm not saying because I fucking love me some Wade Barrett on commentary, because we all know I do. But there's something about when he's on commentary with Vic, there's this rapport. Not because, great guy, bad guy, whatever. Mm-hmm. It was the way that they would communicate. There was some like unspoken bond. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I don't feel that Booker has that with anybody.
Yeah.
So that's why that's why I'm like, nah. because you've got to have some kind of chemistry. Like, for example, when Taz and Excalibur just were doing Dark by themselves, that was fucking hilarious. That was the best commentary right there, because you didn't get Excalibur's, over explaining like you were a 2-year-old watching wrestling. You got him and Taz joking around about shit it was funny because they had such a great camaraderie, and that's what made it great. Matches were shitty sometimes, yes, but they had that connection, and Wade Barrett had that connection with pretty much almost everybody he's done commentary with. You're going back to NWA, when that was the first time I've ever really seen him do commentary. And I think that with Booker, it's like he's cool, but it just doesn't have that click. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does feel like he's doing his own thing. That's for sure. I could see that. The commentary tables, and it's probably exactly why to me he's such like I said, non-entity to me. Like, I enjoy him, but I don't think about him as a commentator almost ever, just because, like you said, probably because his lack of chemistry with someone else on the table. He just feels like he's doing his own thing. There's Booker doing his thing, where with other teams like the McAfee and Cole, you go, that's a duo. They need each other.
Yeah. Corey Graves.
Yeah.
And, and what he does, and I think too, not only just with that, but like Booker is like really good when he was doing, some of those pre-shows, and you had a team of 4 there. Yeah. Because it almost seemed like he was more comfortable to kind of be himself.
Well, and they teed him up, and he knew that he was there to hit it.
Yeah.
Like, so it was like, here's your tee, there's your thing, now we're going to keep moving. Like, it was a lot more organized that way.
Yeah.
Sprinter Fox does say Alexa Bliss would be cool. That would be cool. Corey Jade and Alexa Bliss. He said Booker T, yeah, I'm not watching. The SmackDown team is the best out of the 3. SmackDown team is Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. I have a feeling you don't like that, Splinter Fox. Just knowing you.
I don't like Michael Cole, so I'm very sad.
See? Yeah, that was kind of the NXT and AEW for me this week.
Oh, so what do you think about with AEW on Rampage, Nyla Rose running off with the belt?
Yeah, apparently that happened, which I thought was really funny when I saw on their social media where it said, in case you're wondering, Nyla still has the title. And I was like, in case you didn't know, I didn't know she had it to begin with. Like, what do you mean in case I was wondering? Like, it happened on Rampage. People don't watch that show. So she showed up on Dynamite with the title on, and all I thought was, she won the title or something? Like, I didn't think anything of it. And then I also went, yeah. And then they said she stole it, and I went, yeah, I'm done. Like, I did not care.
No.
It was such a non-thing. And then so Vicky was there, Nyla was there, they cut the little promo, and I go, okay.
Marina Shafir just chilling there. Because...
Did she show up?
Yeah, she's there like third person. I love how everyone's like, who's that woman? It's like fucking Marina Shafir.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. But Vicky is the voice of the voiceless. God bless Vicky. I love her.
Yeah, and the face of the faceless, apparently. No one knew that was Marina.
Well, AEW fans are stupid, so let's go there.
Oh, there's that. Sprinter Fox says, Jade, is she jumping ship? LOL. I mean, maybe. So, yeah, apparently there's something going with the TBS title. I don't know. I don't care. Like,
you know what?
They've made that title seem so irrelevant because it's Jade's title and not because Jade's dominant, but because it's Jade's title. Because every time they give her a 10-plus minute match,
she can't do it. It
under-delivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not protecting Jade, so you don't ever think she's dominant. You just think that she's booked to win. Yeah. And that's the problem with fucking smart mark booking is you go, well, because we all know it's a certain way. Yeah, but we all want to forget it's a certain way. And when you have these long-ass matches where someone can't handle the workload, you make us sit back, cross our arms, and go, well, yeah, she's supposed to win, so she's going to win here in a minute. Give it time. It'll be fine. She'll get better. We shouldn't be making excuses for your booking and for the matches. You should be protecting the performers so we don't realize that they're being protected.
Mm-hmm. I like that phrase. She's going to get better, Britt Baker.
Yeah. 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 They'll get better. We shouldn't see through your shit, man.
No.
You should be doing it in such a way that we don't... I mean, producer ladies off camera just said like a magic trick. Yeah, don't do the magic trick if you don't know how to do it yet. You don't say, I saw the card fall into their thing, but they'll get quicker at it. Don't do the trick if you don't know how to do it yet.
No.
Don't do the trick until you know how to fool me.
No.
Because I'm there to be fooled. I buy a magic ticket so I can go, wow, who knows how that got done?
Yeah.
Do I think there's magic? No. Do I have any idea how that happened? No. The second I see it and go, oh, it's a trick card, you can see the different prints on the back. Get a different deck. Find a new card. Find a new trick.
Or like you ask yourself, why is David Blaine in this box for like 90 days?
The David Blaine stuff is weird. He sits in
What's
boxes
magical?
for a long time.
That's nothing magical. Okay.
Well, what's magical is you don't see the bedpan.
Yeah, I guess.
Or he's implanted a catheter we don't know about, which is also in a way magical.
Probably.
Spinnerflex says they can't get better if they don't have time to get better. AEW is all men wrestling. I'm so over it.
They have 2 other outlets.
Dark and Dark Elevation and Rampage.
And technically they would have another one
Dynamite.
if they were longer, but
Theoretically, yeah, if they have Dynamite, which is 2 hours, Rampage, which is 1, and then specials are 2, and then Dark and Dark Elevation, you have 5 hours a week where you could get women practicing. And you know for a fact that 3 of those hours nobody's watching. Your Rampage numbers are fucking abysmal. Dark and Dark Elevation, people don't even talk about. Like,
you want to know why they're abysmal?
Because the show sucks.
Because we don't have absolute Ricky Starks on commentary anymore.
Oh my god, it's fucking
trying to yell over Jericho because Jericho just can't contain himself.
It's not a Ricky Starks issue.
Hey, I'm just calling it how it is, okay? We don't get our damn we get hooked, but honestly, like now, I'm not interested unless Action Bronson's with him.
Yeah.
Action Bronson played
Action
a show
Bronson.
up here.
I do like
I want to
Action
go to
Bronson.
him and say, yo, dude, you're like the fucking best of these fucking wrestlers that have come up. Dude, you need to be in fucking Hook's corner every time, all the time. It was amazing.
Fox says, like Mark said, nobody watches YouTube, which is exactly why you can give them time to get better on YouTube. I'm not saying there's no point to have it. I'm saying there's no point in pretending I should watch it.
Yeah. Like,
you have it so they can practice.
Let them job the Kylan King.
Yes. He said, nobody watches YouTube, and Chris got hurt on YouTube wrestling. Yeah, because she's bad at it and needed to practice more. And then he says, fuck Starks, he's a jobber, fight me. And that's, hard to argue. He's jobbing out a lot. Well, what are you going to do? Starks. Ricky stinks. You know what I mean?
If I could book him, and if I had that book over at AEW, let me tell you, some of the people you would not expect, they would be fucking rock fucking stars. You know who my champ would be?
I have a feeling that it's everyone would exactly expect is the problem.
No. The champ should be fucking Ethan Page. All ego fucking Ethan Page. That should be your champ right there. But if I had the book, yes.
Spinner Fox says, but if they don't get major TV time, then what is the point? The point is you get them ready for TV time. The point is you get them ready. You have them on YouTube so much that they're so good that they need the TV time.
Britt
right
Baker
now, you have people who show up on TV and you go, how are they on TV?
Yeah. Britt Baker
happen? Britt Baker needs a ton of time off TV. A ton. And to be honest, she's probably doing a ton of other kinds of work backstage. Spinner Fox says, Colt would be your champion, blah, blah, blah. What's up?
No. Colt would not be the champion.
She's an AEW Charlotte, except Charlotte's athletic.
Okay. He would not be the champ. There's only one belt that Colt really should have because
the Ring of Honor Championship?
Yep. Thank you.
Oh my god.
Have it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Give it away. Yeah, but then give it away. It was supposed to be his. That's why he went back to that fucking godforsaken company. He talked so much shit about it on his podcast and was like, never going to go. And you know who had to eat crow when I fucking approached him in Dallas? After I heard you fucking went back and you were up there and you didn't even fucking tell me. And he goes, I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to. I go, you motherfucker. You were never going to go back to that place. You were like fucking on that pedestal. And he was
Colt
like,
Cabana's watching Jericho win the Ring of Honor title like Dolph Ziggler. Just, it should have been me.
No, he's probably like,
been me.
He's probably sitting there like,
yeah.
I'm not going to say anything.
Right.
I'm just making $1 off of Chris Jericho shirts. So every one of these stupid ass bullshit shirts.
Keep buying them shirts, guys.
Buying them.
Let's do last call. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
We've been here forever. Spinner Fox is hanging tough because he's a badass, but everyone else is drunk. Guys, we'll be back next week right here in the dive bar of the IWC for a brand new episode 1. Thank you for coming through and being our drinking buddies tonight. Oh, wait. Splinter Fox trying to derail. I want Amanda versus Tony in a WWE GM mode and see who would win, who gets bankrupt first.
Tony.
That's actually the most fair platform to consider. That's incredible. He didn't even say fire. He said WWE GM mode. He
And I will
found
tell
the
you.
most middle ground. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Tony would tap out.
Oh, he would
Right.
tap out for sure.
No, me? No.
No, Tony would. Yeah, Tony wouldn't.
Tony would for sure.
Yeah. Tony
That's
would
why you're
make
seeing
Gargano
Paul-
as champion or something weird.
No.
Guys, thank you for coming through and being our drinking buddies. We'll be back next week for a brand new episode 1 right here in the dive. Whoa. Technical difficulties. Take a drink. We'll be back right here in the dive bar of the IWC. That's last call.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.